streams, I just happen to say, God, I hope my net doesn't shit itself. There's a 50-50 shot that it might, in which case I just have my mobile data ready on hand, just in case, but yeah.
Okay. Hopefully not.
Mm-hmm.
On my end as well.
Alright. Okay, we'll get started in about 3-4 minutes, or whenever people start trickling in. And I should probably check that post for the audience questions.
Is there a little bit of lag between the Discord call? Because I hear you lagging a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, just a little bit. There's
just
like a
tiny bit?
tiny bit.
Maybe. I think that was just from stream stabilizing, and that's it.
Okay, hopefully.
Hopefully. If not, I can just go straight for it and prevent it from now. In fact, I think I might actually do that, because I have a gut feeling someone else is using the net.
There is there's a little bit of lag. Like, occasionally your voice has like the...
Okay, for a hot minute there, I watched my PC freak out like crazy, I think. I'm not 100%
I think it's the
sure.
Sasha curse.
Not 100% sure of the cause, but it immediately just freaked out.
Yep,
Anyway.
it's the Sasha curse. Absolutely.
Alright, give me just a second, because I'll need to disconnect my former connection as well. So we're about to go dark again for a second.
Alright, that's fine.
And reconnection successful. Here we go.
Very good. Very good.
Alright. Let's see. I just looked at my stream for a moment and it was the disconnect protection. I was like, oh. God damn. Okay, look.
Trust me, it truly is the Sasha curse.
Oh, Christ. Okay, it looks like... Oh, hey, my activity feed's working again. Oh, that's
very good.
Alright, what else did I need to pull up? Right, moderation. Move this can out of the way of my time. Okay, let's see. Nope, that wasn't the link to moderator view. That was the link to some completely unrelated article. Great. Alright. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, probably just wait a bit longer, then get started. Get myself through the rest of this. Alright, let's see. What did I miss? Laurelane, Cosma. Okay, that was it. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately no links, as per how Twitch ends up going with things. Wait, what Toho song was this? Oh, okay, yeah. Alright. Alright, you ready?
Yep,
Hmm,
absolutely.
You sure?
As ready as I can be.
Close enough, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's transition ourselves over then.
Alright.
Alright, so welcome to the show. I still don't have a name for this goddamn show, despite having gone through about, let's see, Blue, Hiro, Yasen, Rira. That makes you number 5 now.
Honored. Honored to be
D-
here
Despite
on this nameless show.
despite having gone through 4 guests so far, still no name. Probably won't ever find a name for this show either.
Maybe that's what gives it its charm.
Perhaps. Anyhow, simplest question to start with. Very simple one. Yeah, feel free to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Komatsu Sasha. You can just call me Sasha. I'm a wolf. Sorry, with more certainty this time. I'm a wolf. I am from like a snowy forest. It's very hard for me to explain exactly where it is I'm from because I travel a lot. Other than that, I enjoy really odd games, and I really like horse meat.
Okay.
That's about the best introduction I've got there, buddy.
Alright, let's start with the odd sticking point there. Why horse meat?
Horse meat. It's so good. It's like the best. It's like it's so tasty. I don't know. Unless you've had it, it's a bit hard for me to explain. Like
Let's see,
there's
try explaining like the texture, flavor, sort of taste.
I always have raw horse meat. So in Japan, it's called sakura yuke. Like it's like a marinated horse with egg. Like it's like a raw horse meat mash up with a raw egg on it. And I know it sounds really weird, but for wolves like me, you know, it's really good. It's very nutritious. It's very nutritious. So
I suppose, yeah.
it's kind of like because it's covered in the raw egg, right? So it's a little bit slimy, but then there's that real like protein flavor to it because you know.
Yeah, there would definitely be that proteiny flavor, like just
Yeah.
gamey sort of feel. I think is normal.
Yeah,
for it.
and it's so good. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Everybody has to try it. I would say everybody should try it.
I'll say gamey stuff is normally not quite my taste because the time I did try kangaroo was a case of, oh god, this is horrifying for me. But
Kangaroo's not too bad.
I don't mind raw egg though. Raw egg's okay.
Yeah, raw egg is great. Goes with everything, even people.
Eh? Oi.
Hmm?
Oi.
Huh? What? Huh?
For now, I will pretend I did not hear that.
For now.
For now, it may come back up later. You never know. You never know.
I'm hoping it will.
Alright, so let's see. Let's move on to the next one, in which case, so what inspired your current design? So what you're using right now?
That's really funny because my current design was more or less inspired by, I mean, the fact that I really wanted the wolf design, because ever since I was really young, like everybody always compared me to being a lone wolf, and it became a really funny thing because um, it just kind of grew on me so much that maybe even though I wasn't a lone wolf, I started behaving more like one because everybody was labeling me that way. So I was like, yeah, okay, sure, and I don't have anything against it.
Fair.
So that's how I picked out the animal to begin with. Secondly, I guess was the details. A lot of details were discussed by Papa and I, based on my personality, which is really funny because one of the reasons why I'm doing, the whole 2.0 change is also because I currently don't feel like my VTuber avatar fits my personality. She looks so smug all the time. No, I'm not. Maybe this is my inner perception of myself. I guess that would make the most sense. Other than that, design-wise, all the constellations, everything was just from the fact that I like starry stuff. It's really not that complex of a decision.
Starry stuff, huh?
Yes, I very much like starry stuff, and I initially, because my papa, he's very I guess he's very adept at drawing street style kind of clothing. So I guess this was something that's slightly out of his usual range. So I guess he wanted to kind of throw it up and like just throw in a little bit of that, typical Zyrian what do you call that?
Flair, I
Like
suppose.
flair, that's right. Yeah. And other than that, it was also inspired by one of my favorite like light novels. I'm sure a lot of people know this one, Spice and Wolf. So it kind of had that somewhat medieval yet still kind of street style kind of vibe to it. Yeah, so that's the cross between Papa's ideas and then my ideas as well.
Because yeah, the one part I noticed especially was when I was trying to pixel out your design, I was just like, okay, so I've got to do this half modern and half fantasy? Question mark?
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, because the dress part especially, I was like, wait, this is like, people wear these?
Yeah, we really went through quite a few designs before we ended up with this. But honestly, I was really happy with it. I'm still really happy with it. I just feel that it's too cute for me. I'm not this cute.
Do elaborate on what some of those previous designs might have looked like.
Initially the design was potentially something along the lines of a working dog kind of situation, like herding dogs or sledding dogs, but as a wolf. So it would have been something along the lines of like a domesticated wolf dog kind of thing. So it had a lot of like harnesses, which is something like that Zyrian also incorporates into a lot of his designs. And maybe stuff like a muzzle, which I've spoken about extensively.
We will get back to that in just
Will we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the muzzle, the harnesses, just a slightly more roughed up design, something with a bunch of scars and stuff. But yeah, then that kind of devolved slowly after we started talking about it a bit more, and then eventually we kind of wound up with exactly what I have at the moment.
Okay. Because yeah, the design, let's see, the current design is very, I'd put it as very cutesy, sort of.
Yeah, very much so.
Because yeah, okay, so the funny thing is, my relationship with your two papas is pretty funny in the fact that I have both their art up on my wall, is the thing. Because yeah, just at the same convention, I was like, I'm gonna support all of my artist friends, so I'll pick up a piece from each of them. And it ended up being myself picking up a bunch of pieces from Zyrian, then a couple from Kaiman as well.
Hmm?
Or a couple of pieces off of Kaiman as well, because yeah, fella does art too. But yeah.
Yeah.
So on one of my doors is a whole bunch of Zyron art. On on the wall next to my door is a bunch of Kaiman's art. So it's like,
Maybe I need to be a more supportive daughter as well.
Because yeah, what I found between those two as a combination was it was like if it's Zyron's art being rigged by Kaiman, it does end up having that very cutesy sort of style to it, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause,
I think that's
yeah.
one of the things that I because I've always really loved Siren's art. I've been a huge fan of his art for quite some time. And then for some strange reason, I didn't take into account that he would turn me into a lolly. I didn't think about that. I was like, oh, his art is so nice. His art is so nice. Oh god, I'm a lolly.
I mean, if I look at the characters on my wall, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make the connection at the time.
There's
I should have thought about it.
There's a Flan up there. There's Satori, Koishi, whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of figures itself from there.
I think my Toho like bias was possibly affecting my decision in some way.
Fair enough. The man is very much a Toho artist. I don't
Very
think
much
he's,
so.
I don't think he's stopped drawing Toho at any point, at least.
I'd hope not. I'd hope not.
Yeah, then he ends up flying onto any random gacha trends, I guess.
Yeah, he's a whale. You know, we all know that.
Oh boy, his most common phrase still to this day is "money is everything."
Money is everything.
And
Truly.
Then I watch him drop the money for yes, gotcha.
Gotcha.
And I'm like,
all of us have our vices. All of us have our vices. That's all I can say.
And his is gotcha.
For some,
I
it's
suppose.
gotcha. You know, I can't speak much myself on that. my viewers have seen me drop a stupid amount of money as well. Well, it's not as bad as him. It's definitely not as bad as him. Not as bad as Papa.
Let's throw the curveball. How many different things have you whaled for so far? Like different games per se.
That's a dangerous question.
Yes, it is. That's why it's a curveball here.
Let's see. I started out with I started out with Puzzle and Dragons back in Puzzle and Dragons. When was that? Puzzle and Dragons. That seems like quite some time ago. In 2012, Puzzle and Dragons. That's when I started whaling. Oof. That was the first game that I started spending money on.
Oh boy.
And it was particularly easy at the time. Because I was living in Japan. So it was like, just go down to the local kombini and just like
direct source,
buy whatever I wanted to buy. Yeah, that was really horrible. I shouldn't have done that. Looking back, hindsight's always 2020. But whatever. I got so many good rolls. And then after that was, God, there are so many games. I guess the big ones were like Grand Blue. Grand Blue is a really big one. I spent quite a lot of money on Grand Blue, but I was very invested in the game. I've been playing the game it's on its 7th anniversary. I think I've been playing the game for 5 years.
Oh wow.
Possibly 6 I think probably 5 years. And I felt like at the time that the monetary investment was fair, because some people,
it's still going to this day.
It is still going, exactly. Some people spend money on clothes, some people spend money on watches. I like my 2D girls. I do like my 2D girls.
What is there to spend on in Grand Blue?
So you have gacha, right? So you have gacha, that's the start. And then you have gacha for 2 things. You have gacha for characters, and then when you reach a certain level and you already have all the characters that you need, you start gachaing for summons. And then when you have all the summons that you need and all the characters that you need, you start to do gacha for duplicates of weapons so that you can make your weapons stronger and your grid stronger. And then you find out that you spent all your money and you can't afford to have lunch. And that's how it begins.
Oh,
That's how it begins, by the way.
wait,
Sorry.
begins. Hold up.
There's still more, like outfits and merchandise and like, you know, what else is there? Just a lot of things. They always make it seem so like you gotta have it, you know?
Oh,
I have to have it.
There's just that appeal to it, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
I never quite got into Grand Blue. I ended up in Shadowverse instead, but
Shadowverse.
yeah.
Yeah. I can see why.
I can thank a certain fella for that one.
I wonder who.
yeah, you gotta wonder.
Yeah. Other than that, Idolmaster.
Ah! Oh,
So
that hurt.
that's...
That hurt.
Wait, why?
Okay, so Idolmass hasn't really been something I've particularly spent on. It's just more a case of Idolmass is something a friend of mine has spent a lot on, and when he moved back to Korea, he dumped a lot of his stuff on me. So in my closet is a whole bunch of Idolmaster merchandise.
Wow. You're living the dream, receiving some, you know, free Idolmaster stuff.
But yeah, Idolmass, I can see. Yeah.
So there was the music game, and then there was the like idol building game, which is Shiny Mass. So I did play both of them.
Oh.
But I didn't spend money on both of them. I only spent money on one of them. I can't remember which one anymore, but that's no longer the point. Money spent. Goodbye. And then there is, well, at the moment, there's Genshin. So that's clear. I'm already starting to regret it. It comes so quickly. The regret comes so quickly.
Yeah, it really does. Like Genshin's one of the few that I've opened my wallet for, but I've long stopped since playing Genshin, so it's like,
Yeah, it makes you regret it real quickly.
It's like that.
At the
That's
same
money I
time,
could have used elsewhere, but at the same time, yeah.
Yeah. Part of me says I could have used the money elsewhere, but part of me also says I could have used the money on a different gacha game, which makes no difference, honestly.
For the amount of time I've spent on Genshin, the money's worth. Like, for games, myself, I figure that if you can get at least $1 per hour that you spend, then you've made your worth, more so than a lot of games out there, anyhow.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how I kind of like delegate whether or not I should spend the money. If I think I'm going to spend quite some time on the game, then I'm willing to kind of put in that money, as long as it doesn't mean that I'm spending like $100 per hour or something, you know? Like, as long as it's fair, it has to be a fair amount.
I'm not sure how much a certain whale friend of mine has spent per hour, but it is certainly a lot, because he does his 5 top-ups per day.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. He does his 5 top-ups per day, and every time a new banner character comes out, he gets the C6.
Oh god, that's crazy. That's
usually
insane.
In the same day that it comes out. But that fella, he's got a very successful streaming career, so it's the case of, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could see it becoming something sustainable if people really want to watch you roll, and then they give you the donations, and then you do the rolls, and then nobody really loses out in that.
And for the most part, he's an IRL streamer, but he has an anime icon, which is just a depiction of himself with a credit card in his hand.
Very accurate.
So his whole brand is straight up that whaling aspect, actually. And it did make him very infamous at the start of Genshin's cycle, simply because people were very much on the anti-China sort of angle and just don't support Chinese business, etc. And he was all out going like making money rain, essentially.
Yeah, I could see why people gave him the attention. Well, anyway, it paid off. I mean, Genshin's pretty popular everywhere now. So.
Yeah, he blew up in popularity as well, so it's just like, Christ,
good for him.
He's good, because before that, all he was doing was Epic 7 content.
Oh, Epic 7. Yeah, I've been told to play Epic 7 quite a bit, but I can't get into it for some reason.
I like
thankfully.
I like E7 a lot. It's not a game that you pay for, though.
Yeah. I heard it's pretty open to free to play.
Yeah, like you can complete all the content, no problem, and the pity floor isn't too bad either. It's just if you go into PvP, everything is absolute misery. Because Wales will far
Yeah,
outscale
whales,
you. Like they'll
definitely.
outscale you hard. Because there's just one stat where they can just keep pumping more and more into that stat, and they will beat you out in the end.
Thank God I didn't get into it.
Yeah, the PvP gets very frustrating after a certain point. So yeah,
Yeah, I've
it's
never
good not to get
really.
into it.
Yeah, I've never really enjoyed like PvP in gacha games because then money really just becomes a very big deciding factor on whether or not you succeed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I will say
So.
though, A7's PvP system is probably one of the best I've seen, if only just because of how they do real-time PvP. In that you get pick and ban phases.
Oh, okay.
And you
Yeah.
actually build a team composition based around that instead. It favors people with
Yeah,
a deeper pool of stuff, but yeah, it's unique to say the least.
I would say maybe I should look into it, but I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't look into it.
For the sake
I don't
of
have
your
time anyway.
for the sake of your wallet and your time, yeah, don't just don't, because it is
Yeah.
a really big time sink. It was a case of if I'm playing E7, I can't feasibly touch many other games. In
Oh, really?
comparison,
Is it that bad?
It's I compared it with someone who played GBF, and it was close to the same.
Oh, wow, that's pretty crazy then.
Yeah, the time investment was just yikes, and yeah, you also have Guild War as well.
Alex in the chat, is this a dare? Is this a dare?
God damn it.
No, Epic 7 for me. Because I am obsessed with something else right now. Because I don't have a lot of time recently. As everybody knows, I've been incredibly busy, both either with, work or just the fact that I can't stream purely because of, the times that I can stream. Something has to be really annoying and not work. Which is why earlier when Eco is having technical issues, I was saying like, this is a Sasha curse. This is a Sasha curse. Everything doesn't work when it comes near me. So sad. I've been playing Uma Musume.
Oh no! Not another
sure
one.
If you know.
Not another one.
It is so good. It's
I
such
know
a
it's
good game.
A friend of mine, which is an absolute gacha addict, gone through every bloody gacha, even said, "Yeah, this is high quality. This is good shit."
It is high quality.
I'm just like, oh no. It looks cute, and one of my favorite artists was drawing stuff for it, so I was like,
Yeah, you should. It's great. I love it. I've dropped 3,000 yen, 3,000 yen on the start dash. But to be fair, when I started the game, they gave a bunch of free rolls, and I got all the double S tier cards.
Wow.
I got all of them, so I was like, I gotta invest in this game. I'm gonna play. Plus, I love Uma Musume. I'm a huge fan. I love horse girls. I love girls. I love horses. Seems perfect for me.
Pretty sure
I love eating them. I like looking at them.
Oh dear.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, matches up
like
perfectly with your taste, hey?
It's an interactive menu.
Oi. Interactive menu, this one says. Alright, might as well leap over to the next question on this list, anyhow, of the seeded lot at least. So, let's see. See, I've got one on content production here, but I can't remember exactly what I swapped it over to in your case, but nonetheless, content production. What kind do you say you produce? Is it just exclusively to streams, or would you like to branch out into other stuff eventually?
Well, at the moment, I really just do streams because I don't have the time. I'm hoping that sometime mid this year, I'm gonna have a little bit more time to focus a bit more on content creation. I'm hoping to actually start a YouTube channel for maybe ASMR content. Yeah, it's something that I've been interested in for some time, but I haven't really got to, purely because one, I don't have the relevant experience at the moment, and purely for the fact that I can't do ASMR if there's construction in my area like 24/7.
Fair enough.
It is the very opposite of ASMR.
If I'm to currently mess with the audience, the simplicity of ASMR, if you do not have an ASMR mic, is panning the audio from left to right accordingly. For instance, if I suddenly do this, I am now talking into your left ear, any fellas in the audience. And if I do this, so I'm going to shove this back in the middle and pretend I did not do that.
What's funny about that is I could not. I probably wasn't able to tell because um,
Wait, never mind.
Yeah,
I broke the illusion
mono.
of it because it was mono.
It's mono. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, break my
normally if
kneecaps
you're-
ASMR.
breaking knee. Oh my.
I'd love that.
I'm not sure you'd exactly want to hear a snap and then a massive scream.
You sure? I mean, maybe
Eh.
not you, but you'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised.
Oh dear. God damn it. Just wait, snapping knee. What's? You know what? Why not? Let's throw this curveball. You mentioned ASMR. You had to. So, what's the weirdest ASMR you've listened to?
Oh, oh God.
Because you're throwing this curve.
Really
You threw
going
it
there.
first. I'm gonna throw it right back.
Are we gonna? Okay, don't say it's my fault. Okay, I didn't bring it to the unsay so portion. You did.
Hey.
Obviously,
hey.
the weirdest ASMR I've heard so far has been the relatively infamous NTR ASMR. I want to say.
NTR.
Have you not heard of it?
No, I haven't. I don't usually delve into ASMR because it's a case of I know if I start listening to this stuff often, I'm probably not going to stop. So it's a case of no thanks.
Yes. Well, how do I unsub? Well, okay, I'm just gonna very briefly go into it because I don't want to talk about this. So sorry, Alex. It is what it is.
Oh boy.
So the gist of it is, it's a VTuber, and she sounds like she's getting railed by her boyfriend over stream, but she's not. It's just an ASMR. It's funny. Haha. Wow. Okay. That's basically it. But that's the weirdest one I've heard.
Oh,
Other than that, the ones that I
that's not too weird.
actively
I think I've heard worse before, but let's not go into that. Anyway, go on.
It was all over Twitter. It's not me. I didn't actively search it out. It was everywhere. It was popular for some time. Everybody was like, "Wow, this girl's getting, wow, she's having some relations online."
Oh,
But yeah, but it turned out that it wasn't actually because everybody thought that she was actually doing something
oh my god.
in the real world, but actually, she's just doing an ASMR. Very convincing, I can say. Very convincing. I'm actually quite impressed.
Oh dear.
Yeah, not that I'd ever venture there, but
Yeah.
you gotta give credit where it's due.
Yeah, credit where it's due. The worst I can imagine you doing is bore, but hey, each to their own.
Exactly. Each to their
Exactly.
own.
This one says.
We all have our own specialties,
I suppose, yeah. Yeah. So the stuff you regularly listen to then would be
the stuff that I regularly listen to. Just some Oni-chan ASMR stuff, which is as many people know, that is my Discord what do you call that, status thingy, right?
Omaidashita.
Yeah. Oni-chan, Oni-san ASMR. So in these cases, this is really embarrassing.
do keep going.
I will. This is for you. Okay. So in these Oni-san ASMRs, God. Okay. So it always goes something along the lines of like, it starts out with you just having a simple conversation with your older brother, and then it just goes on to be like, oh, are you seeing other guys outside? And then they're like, wow, it's something along the lines of like, wow, I'm very jealous, that somebody could be with you. And then after that, then it just gets really like, it delves into some stuff that I don't think Twitch might allow me to talk about. So
we learned that the hard way. Oh boy.
we did learn that the hard way. Funny about that. I'll just say my favorite ASMR video is this video of 3 people playing mahjong, and then they're reading from SAO chapter 16.5.
I have that downloaded somewhere.
Me too.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I wonder why. Oh, good lord. Well, one day we'll finish that. Maybe when Twitch breaks its terms of service.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly that, or it'd end up as a VOD on YouTube somewhere. We'll see.
I wonder.
So why ASMR specifically?
Why ASMR specifically? Well, it's actually kind of funny because I never thought that I would get into ASMR. I guess for me, and like kind of similar to a lot of other people, I hated my voice for a really, really long time. And I've always thought that ASMR content was really intriguing, and it really does have some sort of it really does help people in a way. It helps to either one, calm people down, or I don't know, have some live in some odd perspective that they never could before, or just have something to help them be productive in the background. Honestly, there's just so many reasons why people listen to ASMR. And after I started streaming, I started getting a lot more comments saying that people were specifically drawn to me because of my voice, and that was news to me. Or people liked listening to my voice, they put my stream in the background, stuff like that. That was, I don't know, world changing for me, honestly. Because before that, I honestly hated my voice so much. It was so bad.
Hey, really now?
Impossible. Yeah, I honestly have a hard time believing that people actually like my voice. But it's not, I guess it's not really for me to say, as if you create content, it's not just for you, but it's also for everybody else. And if other people like it, then I don't see why you should restrict yourself. And plus, I guess it's something that maybe just gets better over time, like with practice, or when you kind of get more comfortable with yourself.
I suppose, yeah. Because even myself, my own voice, I was very uncomfortable with for the longest time. Because hey, when you have someone which is how does one explain, all the way back when they're 10 years old having a bloody deep voice, then you get some weird looks.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, but your voice is great. You know that, I'm sure.
I've been told it way too many times to actually deny it at this point. But no, I will definitely say, though, one of the first things that intrigues me about you was definitely your voice, though.
I don't get it, though. I seriously don't get it.
Really?
Like, I don't know what about it. Like,
if I were to piece it out for myself, it'd be more so that your accent is incredibly hard to place, and then it's kind of gentle, I guess, would be the easiest way to put it. Yeah, it's not what I'd particularly call harsh, or it's on the more calming side of tones, at least.
Huh. It's funny because a lot of the time I've always thought like, oh god, my voice is so harsh, it's so difficult to listen to. Sometimes when I hear myself speak, I'm like, oh god, shut up.
Oh, Christ.
So to hear that, it's quite a differing perspective than what I have of myself. And I guess in that, it kind of gave me a little bit more confidence in wanting to try things that are outside of my comfort zone. And in that, that's where ASMR lies for me.
Because That's definitely being able to make use of your voice is bloody great. When you eventually do figure, oh yeah, my voice isn't actually like the worst thing in existence, and people might enjoy this, then you can explore a lot more into, like, a lot more avenues.
Yeah, definitely.
Because yeah, for example, that led me to radio at some point, and now I've got a bloody radio voice when it calls to it. I suppose.
You absolutely do.
Because Christ, even when, like, even the first time my parents heard me on radio, they were just like, they came back to me and like, yeah, you should keep doing this, me. I'm like, eh? I had no intention to keep going with radio. Like, it was fun, but yeah, it was a case of I had no expectations going in.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I guess when you don't exactly have that perception of yourself, you don't constantly think like I'm gonna be a radio star or something like that.
I really
But
didn't expect anything of the sort, essentially.
yeah, but like another funny thing about the fact that you say my voice is calm, is that one of the reasons why my character design is as such was because I mentally imagined my voice to be very rough and very boyish, which is why my character does have that tinge of like tomboyishness to it, because that's
Oh,
what I've
yeah,
always pictured myself
definitely.
to be. So which is why I guess there's this kind of dissonance between when I stream and when I talk at the moment. That's what I feel. I know some people call it a gap, but maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of changing models as well, because I figured maybe I should really like accept who I am and try to create something that has a little bit more of aspects of myself in it.
I suppose, yeah. Let's see, so in which case, I'll throw the question, why the specific rebrand near the start of when you got around to streaming?
Yeah, funny thing. So that's one of the exact reasons why. One of the reasons was that after I started streaming, I felt that the character that I had in my mind, that I was like the kind of streamer that I would be, and the kind of streamer that I actually turned out to be, was really, really different. Um, I'm sure like a lot of my viewers know that in the beginning I introduced myself as like some toxic gamer wolf, which I did have that perception of myself. But when it came to it, when I came to actually playing the games and being really toxic, I couldn't get it to come out. Like it wasn't natural to me, and I just ended up saying things that I didn't wanna. Have. I didn't want to like kind of create or say toxic things just for the sake of like a stream, like just kind of create content. Um, I ended up just wanting to be myself. I just wanted to be calm when I wanted to be calm. I wanted to laugh when I wanted to laugh. I do enjoy the idea of creating a personality through my VTuber, but at the same time, I figured that it was just most comfortable for me to be as close as I could to myself. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I decided like maybe I should take a bit of a change with the VTuber model and kind of pick something that suited my personality a bit better now that I have a bit more perspective as well, on what kind of streamer I am.
Fair enough, fair enough. Like, for myself, I just stuck with no illusions of trying to create a character. Because while I can play characters decently well, I used to be an actor, even. Yeah, it's more a case of, tired of being in the spotlight, tired of playing up a character, so just, yeah, be natural, be as I am.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of felt that as well. I didn't really want to continuously play a character. I did initially think like, oh, it would be fun to not be like myself for once, but then after I streamed for quite some time, I realized like it's almost impossible for me to maintain any form of like any form of illusion in that sense. Plus,
Yeah.
I think because I felt in the beginning I did feel a little bit intimidated because I know a lot of the girls, or you know, just generally people in the community, they are incredibly adorable. They are positively adorable. Their voices are cute, they are feminine, they have I don't know, this like upbeat charm to them. And perhaps that's what I kind of thought that I wanted to give to the community as well. And I didn't realistically kind of what do you call it, reconcile that with my own personality. I thought that that was something that I could possibly keep up, or that I could kind of do, but turns out I'm just not that kind of person. You know, I have my own way of doing things, and it's calm and it's quiet, and I'm happy with that right now. So
Fair enough, fair enough. Because, yeah, I noticed throughout your streams it slowly became more and more chill, is the way I'd put it. Like, just, if your stream went up and I tuned in, odds are if I was listening to it for too long, I'd end up falling asleep. One, because of the hours, two, because, yeah, they are very chill.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but I guess it kind of is.
Hey,
for what I'm going for.
For an insomniac that is more liable to stay up to the wrong hours of the day, I think it's fine.
That's great. that's a good thing. I'm glad to hear. I've actually got that quite a bit. Like, oh, I fell asleep watching your stream. I'm like, oh god, am I boring?
No, it's just calm and like soothing, I suppose, would be the easier way of putting it.
That's good. I'm glad.
Let's see. Let's move on to the next question I've got lined up here, of which would be, let's see. So, you did mention the rest of the community, or VTubing community, upbeat and whatnot. What are your general thoughts on the indie VTuber scene?
Well, that's a really good question. My thoughts. I feel like for now, I can't really say for certain, especially since I haven't really interacted with a lot of other VTubers. I do have very brief interactions with them, and most of them seem to be very, very friendly. But otherwise, you know, most of the interactions that I have with the other VTubers are relatively touch and go. Everybody seems like they are trying their best, or you know, everybody's trying to put out some kind of content, or like trying to find their place into like what kind of content they're going to be falling into. And I can see that there are some really important discussions on what kind of content to create, or what kind of what's considered like meaningful content, and how people can kind of get that started. So it's kind of nice to see that there are avenues where people are starting to talk about these things. I can't really say for certain, you know, that I agree with some of these, because I understand that everybody's VTubing for a different reason. You know, some people are doing it to create content, some people are doing it just because they find it fun. Honestly, I think as long as somebody's enjoying themselves, it's not too big of a problem. And so far, I've tend to interact with people who have been kind of like in that sort of vein. So if there are people who aren't, I think I probably haven't really met them yet. Yeah.
Fair enough. Did you find any kind of inspiration or any hit by the, let's see, did you listen to Maury's rap?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Did that hit you in any way, or nah?
Well, it definitely did make me feel like I wanted to try to find content that I could produce that wasn't just streaming. I understand like streaming definitely is still content creation, but I guess for me, I do have like I try to have a fairly high expectation of myself, and in that, I did feel like, oh, I felt like, oh no, I'm being called out because I'm not doing what I think I should be doing. You know, but at the same time, when I started the whole VTubing thing, it was really just like a side. It was really just meant to be like a side thing that I would do in my free time, because I have a really stupid life schedule.
It really does sound
really
like it
crazy.
at times. Yeah.
Yeah, I barely get any sleep. I barely do anything for myself ever. And the one thing that I did want to do for myself was to stream and just kind of like get to know a bunch of people who were interested in the same things that I was, and to kind of use that to wind down as well. but yeah, definitely, I did feel kind of targeted, but not in a bad way. I just it definitely got me thinking about what kind of content I want to produce and what kind of VTuber I want it to be in the long run. Unfortunately, I still don't have a really firm answer on that because definitely I like to plan things. I'm quite, I'm quite the planner, and I haven't had the time to actually sit down and actually write something that like a kind of like a list of things that I want to achieve by a certain period of time yet.
So getting deadlines down, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Because yeah, deadlines can be a tad on the scary side when you realize, yeah, I need to commit by this date, and then yeah, actually see something through.
I think the deadlines aren't really too big of an issue for me. Like I'm happy to work with deadlines. I've always worked better under pressure. But for me, it's just a matter of finding content to create that isn't meaningless or just something that I'm trying to do to possibly ride on a trend or to just kind of put something out there for no particular reason. I want to do something that's meaningful, not just to everybody else, but to myself as well. And in that way as well, I don't like doing things that's like, I'm quite the perfectionist as well sometimes. So the idea of doing something that could come out as less than perfect, not even less than perfect, because I understand that there is a pathway that you have to take. There are the steps that you have to take before you can get to that point. And in that, producing the content to begin with is one thing. But even for the baseline, even for like the very foundation of whatever I want to do, I want to make sure that it's done to a certain degree of what do you call that?
Quality, I suppose.
Quality, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Tired. A certain degree of quality. And at the moment, I don't feel like I have the right headspace or the right, time or anything to kind of work on something like that. So I don't want to produce something just to say like, oh, look at this, everybody, I produced something, so you can't say that I'm not producing content. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right.
Alright, fair enough. In which case, I'll ask the next question down this list, because it is almost directly related, kind of. Because it's the one thing most VTubers, or at least on the indie scene, at the very least, manage to push out. Like it's their first big milestone. In which case, how was debut for you? Like when you, right away as you started out, just all of those things leading up to debut.
Oh, it was a stressful period. I definitely like felt really conscious, like particularly conscious of myself leading up to debut. The weeks before debut, it was like my voice became impossibly conscious. Like it became so obvious to me. Like I just became like hyper aware of my voice, the way I spoke, like the little tics that I have. All these things just started popping up. And then the technical portion of it wasn't too big of an issue. But I suppose the content of the debut was also something that I was quite concerned about, because I only managed to complete all of it quite close to the debut date, because initially I wasn't thinking of debuting. I debuted on the 20th of December. Actually wasn't thinking of debuting that early. I was actually thinking of debuting sometime in 2021. So
Wait,
I
you were
debuted.
expecting to go next year? Wait, this year? Huh.
Yeah, this year. Yeah. But under some suggestion, I actually pushed it all the way to December 20th.
Yeah, I know the specific suggestion, kind of, but at the same time, yeah, that ended up being a lot of work for all parties involved, from what I know of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like hindsight is 2020. Everybody wanted things to go the best that everybody expected things to go well. And it did. It actually did. It went went pretty well. And then I think after that, just kind of everybody just got more comfortable in their roles and just started doing their own thing, and that's absolutely fine. Debut. What else about debut was interesting? Honestly, it wasn't really very much. I guess the most notable thing was that on debut, a couple of days before debut, I decided that maybe I should sing at the end of my debut. That was very interesting because I had never really thought about that before. But then I started getting really self-conscious based on like all the debuts that I watched up to that point in research, for my debut.
Because a lot of
And I was
them go
thinking,
with the explanation, what goals, whatever. Then at the end, they do like karaoke or something.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my definitely it was my insecurity that led me to believe like if I were to just do something simple and then not follow it up with a show of what people could possibly expect from me, then it would be a fairly shallow debut. That's just my perspective on it. It wasn't necessarily the case. I've actually seen a lot of debuts that don't have any karaoke section. They just talk and they're just so funny, and they just are so natural with a crowd. And I think maybe it was my it's honestly a lot of these things just stem from my insecurity, that I felt like I had to kind of oh my god, what's wrong with me today? I can't think of any of the words.
Hey.
I had to overcompensate by
hmm.
Putting something else out there. In the end, actually, I'm still pretty happy I did it because it was a great song. It's very meaningful to me.
Yep, good song.
I chose something that was very specifically meaningful to me.
Tabi no Tochu,
and
yeah?
Yeah, Tabi no Tochu, yeah. And in the end, I'm actually pretty glad that I took the leap of faith and just did it. So, I guess, some things do work out.
For myself, Tabi no Tochu was one of the first songs I actually sung properly at a karaoke session, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's a great song. It's fun to sing too.
The first karaoke session I went to where I figured, I may as well actually sing something this time. The first one I went to, I sung Karakuri Piro and specifically Tabi no Tochu.
Nice. Tabi no Tochu is really good.
Those two songs specifically, and then I think the third one I sung specifically that time was Hikaru Nara, which is now cursed song for me.
Wait, what cursed?
Absolutely cursed.
Okay.
Oh no. Easiest explanation is Zyron and I used to be in a band. That was one of the songs we had to play on loop.
Yeah, okay, that does sound cursed. Usually after you have to perform a song, you hate that song.
Yeah.
You've performed it like a million times.
Yeah.
Yep.
In which regard, what's your music taste like? Because from what I recall of it, it was something very interesting that I'd only heard from one other person before, I think.
Okay, well, my music taste it's very diverse. I listen to a lot of math rock.
That was the one, math rock.
Yes, math rock.
Because only one other person in my entire life has ever mentioned math rock, is the thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They have good taste.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so, math rock. Let me think. What are some good bands to as an example? There's a band called TTNG. It's called This Town Needs Guns. They have some really good music. Not a lot of there's some bands that do math rock music, but they don't like specialize in math rock. Of course, you don't want to limit yourself, right? So, what about it do I like? I guess it's usually very calming. Makes me feel like I'm in an indie movie.
Indie movie. Yeah, that's one way of explaining it. Yeah.
And I used to be a drummer.
Oh,
so
okay.
I really love music. I like playing musical instruments as well. The the like the syncopated beats, like the polyrhythms, everything. Like these are all things that just come together and then they just make the whole I don't know, makes the whole genre like just perfect. Plus, it kind of has still like that very relaxing feel to it. A lot of time, math rock tends to still kind of lean into the kind of shoegaze kind of vibe, and I guess a lot of it is like sad boy music as well, and yeah, I'm I'm very much so a sad boy, as one might say.
Hey.
It's a vibe. It's not a there's no defining factor to it. It's just a vibe.
It's a vibe.
I have sad boy vibes. Sad tomboy vibes.
Oh my. Let's see.
Yeah, but funnily enough, you know, I'm sure like some people who follow me, like who are friends with me on Discord or see me on the Discord channel, actually sometimes don't see me listening to math rock. Because I have like a really bad guilty pleasure of listening to all 2000s songs, like
oh boy.
you know, the typical like Mr. Worldwide or something.
God damn it.
It's just because it takes me back. It takes me back, and sometimes you just need that. You know, you need predictability in what you're listening to.
I suppose that kind of nostalgia as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a guilty pleasure which you'll never see me admitting to elsewhere.
Elsewhere. The drums, that's an interesting choice of instrument, because most people gravitate straight to either guitar or piano, really. Drums seems to be that one which is hard to get behind necessarily. Heavy amount of physicality.
Yeah, it really is. I used to have like crazy like aches like after classes. It was horrible. Maybe that's one of the, and I guess it also sucks because there's no sense of portability.
Oh yeah, and porting around a drum kit is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and it's just really expensive. It often feels like more expensive than other instruments to me. I mean, like at least like typical instruments in a band. Yeah. Let's say we're talking typical instruments in a band.
As long as it's not a piano, then yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I stopped playing the drums quite some time ago. I haven't touched it in like years now. I learned it as a kid, and I went through like a whole 4 or 5 years with a professional teacher, and then I just like dropped it.
Holy heck! Do you think you'd still be able to play it if you were given a drum kit?
Maybe. I still can't help. I think like it's something that's instilled in you as an individual, so I can't listen to music without having to tap something or fidgeting. You know, it's always still there. You know,
I know the general feeling as well, because I get the same whenever I hear a piano in a song. It's just straight away, how does this get mapped out?
Yeah, definitely. I can totally see why. It's nice and it's fun, but I don't think it's something that I would do again, because one, I can't invest in a drum kit because it's not going to fit anywhere. And everybody's going to complain. You know, the neighbors are always going to be wondering why somebody is just choosing to smash a bunch of stuff at night.
Because drums are bloody loud, and here's the thing. So in a recent class that I had to mic up a drum set, essentially. So it was shove a microphone into the kick, shove a couple on the snares and toms, and then a couple of overheads for the hi-hats and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous process, and in total, let's see. For the basic setups for drum miking, it's about 4 microphones, and that's as much as you're getting away with on a live show. On a studio recorded show, apparently they can get up to 23 or more individual microphones just to collect the soundscape of a bloody drum kit.
Yep, that's right.
It's pretty insane, but yeah.
I still feel that drummers don't get enough recognition for their place in any music piece. Literally anything.
Because without the drummer, everything goes to hell.
It truly does. It truly, truly does.
Yeah, even more recently when I'm trying to record covers or of songs or just sing along to stuff, if I can't hear the drums, it becomes increasingly more difficult.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think
like,
drums are
yeah.
usually one of the first things I hear in any piece, really.
Because yeah, it does become a case of if you can follow the beat or if you can find the rhythm, then you should be perfectly fine to sing along with it. It's not
Yeah, that's
even
right.
thinking about the melody or anything, it's thinking about the timings instead.
Yeah, definitely.
Because yeah, drummers really aren't given enough credit for how well or how much of an impact they make.
They truly don't. And basses. I gotta speak up for the basses as well.
Let's see. So the band I was a part of, the bassist was the one which brought up math rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice. That good
he
taste. Good
and
taste.
he used to be our drummer.
Ah, yeah. I notice a pattern. And it's usually drummers. Drummers. It's usually the drummers and the bassists because they got taste. They have taste, and they know what they're
But
talking
yeah,
about.
the absolute madman could functionally play any instrument. He was the crazy all-rounder, which is why he got shoved all over the place. The one thing
It's
I will
both a good
say
thing and a
that
bad
he
thing.
couldn't quite do was vocals at times, but nah, he had his way around those as well.
I guess because vocals are a little bit different. You do kind of have like a baseline level of skill that you'd have to have.
Hmm.
That's kind of given to you naturally, and then from there it's practice and the theory behind it. But then I think I think people kind of have that like differing perception like about musical instruments, even though there's kind of like that base skill level. It doesn't seem like it comes naturally. People still think that it can be incorporated by
Yeah.
practice, which is true. It can. Whereas for singing, it's like people have this impression like you're born with it or you're not.
Nah, I'd say anyone can become a good singer. Just takes a ridiculous amount of effort.
Yeah, probably.
There are some cases where, yes, if you've done certain things when you're young, you make things a lot easier on yourself. But most of those are out of the realm of control for a lot of people. For instance, perfect pitch is something you can only earn when you are goddamn young, like ridiculously young. And you'd have needed some parent or someone to have gone ahead and played a note on a piano and asked you to specify exactly which note that is.
Yeah.
After those development years, though, you lose the ability to earn that talent, per se.
Well, I think it's still doable.
It's doable, you'll just never have it down perfect, is the thing.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
which is unfortunate, but yeah. It is what it is at that point.
It is what it is.
And plenty of audio engineers get away with less.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Because, yeah, at this point you can use a damn tuner.
Yeah. I would say, actually, I think I have a pretty, in terms of pitch wise, like listening, I think I can get it. In terms of singing, I don't got it. I don't have it. But when it comes to, if you were to ask me to perfectly tune something, I could do it.
Let's say that I am just gonna casually flip a switch over here and we'll try that later.
No. No.
You brought it up. We'll save it for
No.
a bit later then.
Oh my god. No. Please don't. Don't torture me.
And it's not torture, it's just an exam.
That's even worse.
Okay.
I refuse. I refuse.
Hey, I'm gonna play the notes anyway and see if you manage to pull it off.
Oh my god.
That'll be down the line, anyhow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna escape from here. I'm just gonna be like, bye.
You can try, but let's throw the next question up, anyhow. So, your choice of games, I will say it's, for the most part, away from the mainstream, at least apart from Genshin. Because, apart from Genshin, the choice of games that you end up playing on stream tends to be pretty far away from what people generally expect of the VTubing community.
Really?
Yeah, normally you expect stuff like Apex or Phasmo, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Rather than suddenly someone driving a truck. So if you
I
can, do rationalize your choice in games.
I think um I think similar to what I was saying in terms of content creation, I can't I'm not the kind of person who can pretend to enjoy myself if it's something that I don't really enjoy. So I never really thought about um like what VTubers are actively doing. Like it's very obvious to kind of see what VTubers tend to lean to, and I can understand why they do. You know, those games are fun and they are really really good to help you to interact with your viewers, help you to interact with other VTubers, and they're just very engaging to watch. Even if you've never watched VTubers before, you definitely want to tune in and kind of check that out. For me, I just want to play games that I really enjoy. I can't pretend. I'm not the kind of person who could just play something and then hope that I kind of enjoy it or kind of pretend to enjoy it along the way. I have to really play something that I find fun. And in that, I picked out games that I just felt that I would enjoy. And I thought that it's not that I don't care if other people enjoy it. I just think that you can always find something to enjoy from it. So at least that's for Euro Truck Sim. Euro Truck Sim. I love that game. It's so good. I don't see why anybody would hate it.
Euro Truck
It has
Sim.
It's so good.
So,
on one hand, you have the comedic aspect, which is unintentional purely because it really depends on the skill of the driver. Usually when that happens, I can't even control myself from laughing because these are things that I can't plan. I can't plan these things. It's too funny. It's too unexpected, and I usually don't. I just usually don't know how to fix those situations anyway. So it happens. It happens.
It happens. Yep. Oh god.
Yeah. And then there's the fact that it doesn't really take what do you call that? It doesn't really take a lot of brain power, I suppose, to play those games.
Okay.
So in that sense, I feel like I can still look at the chat pretty often. I can interact with everybody, and it does it's very very much in line with Sasha vacuum cleaner clip.
Let's just say I quickly scrolled through your schedules and stuff, and suddenly there was a video instead. I was like, shit. Quickly scrolled past that. Christ.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's very in line with the kind of streams I like to do, which are chill streams, because honestly, what is more chill than just driving through the countryside with your favorite wolf, right? And then the occasional crash and stuff, but that's what makes it fun.
Occupational hazard,
Yeah, it is. It truly is. I mean, that's why you get insurance, right? I mean, come on.
Come on. Oh my.
Russian DLC soon, yeah. I hope so. I'm
boy.
gonna get that like immediately.
So yeah, the interesting thing to find out about the games industry specifically is if you go to any American conference or whatever, so E3 and all those other bigger cons there, a game like Euro Truck Simulator would not be noticed at all, essentially. It'd go
Definitely
completely under the radar. But here's the thing. Here's the very, very curious biter. It's the fact that if you're at a European conference, I forget the specific ones over there, but yeah, at any European conference, the simulator games in that vein are actually considered massive. So
people have taste.
Yeah, Gamescom specifically. Yeah.
Gamescom.
When they show off Euro Truck Simulator or Farming Simulator or any of those simulator games, there is a massive crowd cheering as if it's the unveiling of some random Nintendo game or something.
It basically is.
Yeah, it's that big a sort of celebration when it happens over there. It's actually pretty hilarious to see.
Yeah, those people and I would be great friends. I find myself very often, wondering what it would be like if I lived, vicariously through the life of a trucker.
Oh my.
But really, it's a free life. It's a life that many people dream of, I'm sure.
Just being
And
able to
these
cruise
simulator
down the
games.
highway, I suppose. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
to each their own.
It's just more cultured people. not not only enjoying violent shoot 'em up. True
Finding
facts.
your other kind of release, I suppose, instead of yes, straight up violence.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's some violence, but not
Hmm.
not intended. Not intended.
Not intended. Oh dear. Let's see. So, let's toss this curveball then. So, why are the more Russian elements in your sort of character, if you will?
That's funny, isn't it? How do I explain that? I guess for the longest time, I guess it really didn't. There was really no intention for it to be specifically Russian related influences. But for me, as an individual, I've very long lived that really fine line between being very influenced by Asian culture and European culture. Probably because of the way I was raised, probably because of my own race, and then other than that, just my fascination with a lot of European languages. And then, and then after that as well, like I picked up Russian, and then after that, I honestly fell in love with so many things about Russia. I don't know why it was. I had a lot of friends from Russia at the time as well, and it was a
Wow.
language that, yeah, it was a language that really spoke to me. It was to me much easier than a lot of other languages that I learned before. It was fun. It was beautiful. Just it just really resonated with me for some reason. I can't say that there's actual real reason as to why why it did, but it was just something that I enjoyed greatly. And I've learned quite a few languages in my time, but Russian really is the one that I was really passionate about. Like I actually put in time to study. I went for classes, made friends, did research, got into culture, reading about all sorts of things. So very interesting. I think that's probably why my character is kind of inspired in that way. Not exactly specifically in a Russian sense, but like I can see why there are elements that I would have incorporated unconsciously.
Fair enough. I mean, for myself, Russian is a bit of a sore spot in a certain sense, in that, let's see, when I was younger, the only servers I could play on for Counter-Strike used to be Russian servers. And if you can imagine, you learn quite a few Russian swears just for,
Yeah.
yes. There's the very specific one, which the entire community knows, of course, but yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says that to me, I just tell them like, you don't know, you don't know,
You don't know how
you don't know
bad it
anything.
is to say it. Good lord. Because yeah, anytime I'm in a call with a Russian guy, if someone else in the call picks up the fact that they're Russian, they immediately try to say it, and the Russian fella gets extremely pissed.
Yeah, no, it can be quite
yeah,
annoying.
Because yeah, it is.
It really can be.
Yeah, that specific one. Yeah, that one pisses a lot
Yeah,
of people off because it's really on the extremely offensive end.
it really
From what I
is.
know.
Like
Yeah.
for me, what I know is like I think the reason why I get very annoyed with it is it really is just because the moment you mention anything about Russia or anything about Russian,
Yeah,
like
people
when
go
I say like
straight
I
to
speak a
that.
little bit of Russian or I learned a little bit of Russian, everybody just immediately says that, and I'm just like, come on, honestly.
My go-to when someone mentions Russian, what is it? Recommend some vodka.
Yeah, recommend some vodka.
So yes, by all means, go ahead. Recommend some vodka.
For me, it's always like in Russian, restaurant is restaurant, but if you were to look at it in English, it looks like pektopa, and that my brain always like flashes pektopa in like big letters whenever somebody says Russian. I don't know why. It's very funny.
Oh dear.
Alex probably is like, yeah, exactly. See, so that's restaurant. That's restaurant. But when you look at it like that, it looks like pektopa, and that always like randomly throughout the day, like even if nobody brings up Russian, anything Russian related, pektopa lives rent free in my mind.
Just that specific phrase. Oh no.
Just something about it just gets me. It just really gets me. It's really funny. Maybe I just have a weird sense of humor.
I can't unsee it now as well.
I know, it's really funny. Like I have to actively stop myself from saying pectopa sometimes, just because I know it's not pectopa, but it's so funny.
Wait, so how's it actually pronounced?
It's just a restaurant.
Restaurant. Oh.
Yeah, so P in Russian is like ah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the H is like N, like an N sound. So yeah, restaurant.
Yeah. Rather than a pectopa.
Pectopa. It gets me every time. It gets me every time. I have no sense of humor.
Restaurant. Huh. But yeah, a friend of mine does, what is it, rather than Russian, ends up with Ukrainian instead. Because, yeah, from that part of the world, anyhow. But yeah, interesting what you hear from that specific part of Europe, because a lot of history tends to cover the more eastern side. Wait, no, western side, specifically like Central Europe and whatnot. And very few people kind of focus on the Russian side, I suppose, or east, Far East.
Yeah. I think like for me, one of the reasons as well is like since I was really young, like a lot of my family members told me that it's possible that that I think one of my ancestors was Russian, and then that kind of also kind of gave me a little bit of like I guess that's possibly what started my fascination into, Russian language and whatnot. So I think that's like the only thing that I could really think of that would have pointed me in that direction since I was kind of young.
For my one's case, apparently I have some French blood in me, which is kind of a given considering where I'm bloody from, but yeah.
Yeah, I figure.
Because yeah, from that region, I'm a cocktail of all the things around that area, which somehow includes French.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
because the occupation of said area, but hey, that's another matter entirely. Anyhow, for
delving into the political.
Yep, for just a moment, I'm going to pause the Toho music that's in the background. And since we're on Discord, you should probably be able to hear this loud and clear, actually. You should be able to hear a piano coming through perfectly clearly.
No, I refuse. I refuse.
If you refuse,
I have rights.
Then I will show you what the meaning of pain is for any musician.
Okay, now I'm kind of curious. I'm curious.
Okay, so to piss off anyone who knows anything about music, you just play the same two notes repeatedly, and you don't stop. It becomes torture after a small amount of time. So let's see how long you last before you tell me to stop.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh my god!
You get the idea, yeah?
Oh my god!
So we have two options here. I can either continue that, or we can try see if you can identify a note.
No!
Take your pick.
No, I refuse. I refuse. No! I'm gonna subject everybody to torture with me. Come, everybody, this is gonna be the background music from now onwards. Okay,
I can't even do that to myself, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I figured that you'd be more affected by it before I'd get affected by it. I have very high tolerance.
God damn it.
Very high tolerance.
But yeah, you get the idea. If you ever want
I
to
do get the
torture,
idea.
if you ever want to torture a pianist or any musician, play those two notes.
Oh, it's fine. I've experienced much worse torture.
Oh, is that so? Please do elaborate.
Oh god. Um, well, let's see. Let's see. I mean, literally just any show, like not a show tune. What's it called? Like any, like if you're practicing music, and a lot of time if you're doing some sort of classical instrument,
Mhm.
or maybe more specifically, like if you were to know somebody who plays the saxophone, you'd be subjected to them spending endless amount of hours practicing the same thing over and over again. And with the saxophone, you'd be surprised because the pitch can honestly be quite the nightmare. So if you can sit through hours of that, if you can sit through hours of somebody trying to get through the same piece and making it sound like an entire comedic, you know, like, God,
Sorry,
oh
sorry.
God,
I sympathize with that a bit too much.
yes, exactly,
Because
and that's
there
why
used to be a sax player in my class, and it was an experience.
it truly is. Nothing really affects you the same way anymore after that.
Yeah, yeah. After you deal with a sax player, it's just like, oh boy.
It is not just
Nothing,
loud.
nothing will ever get to that point.
It eventually, once it stops playing, you still hear it. You still hear it.
Yeah, it still rings in your ears, just that
It truly
tiny little
does.
bit where it's just like, oh.
Yeah. And sometimes
This.
it's funny because like um
Mm-mm.
there's a there can be a really fine line to what you consider to be good. Like there are, well, at least for some riffs, right? There's there's some pieces that are really close to the line of being like good and then being like an absolute mess. And sometimes I can't tell the difference, I'm not gonna lie. I love the saxophone. It's a great instrument. But honestly, put it in the hands of the wrong person and
It's, yes, a weapon of terrorism to the
it
point
truly
where.
is.
So, my school had assemblies, and the. Let's say the woodwind bunch, or brass bunch rather, were supposed to play some of the traditional songs and whatnot. So like the usual Aussie affair when it comes to Remembrance Day and whatnot, or Anzac Day. And yeah, suffice to say, they weren't very good. It got very airy and very to the point of just like, how does one put it? Let me grab the easiest example I can find of this. Hold up just a moment as I find out what a saxophone sound is on this
Oh
keyboard.
god. Okay.
By all means, feel free to talk random stuff for a bit.
What random stuff? I'm not very good at I don't know. Riffing.
Anyway, I just found the instrument, so don't worry about random stuff for now.
Perfect.
Yeah, that barely sounds like a sax, does it?
That fairly sounds like a sax. It sounds like a sax, but in the hands of the wrong, absolutely wrong person.
You get the idea. They could not hold the same note for longer than half a second.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, stuff like, I don't know, the Reverie or whatnot, all that just sounded god awful. It was just like, get us out of here. There's like 500 of us, 500 or 600 students just all there being like, what did we do to deserve this?
Yeah, well, Free torture. Free torture.
Because, yeah, Sax, I don't have the greatest history with it either.
Yeah, I think that's why, no matter how much torture, it can never be worse than that.
It builds No.
It,
No.
it builds character. It does. It truly does.
Hey, Leica. Alright. Let's see. What was next down this list of questions that I had lying around? Ah, yes. This one's kind of an interesting one, because it's one thing that I noticed, which was very much specific to you somehow. So, in regards to audience appeal, so what kind of bunch do you see coming back, essentially? What kind of audience do you think you appeal to? Because your audience is ridiculously loyal, is what I'll say. Despite all the mishaps, despite all of the random shenanigans and stuff, they are still around. Heck, half of them seem to have woke up at bizarre times just to catch this interview.
I am so lucky, honestly. I would say that, with all the setbacks that I've had so far, I am unbelievably lucky, and it is one of the main reasons why I'm choosing to continue and trying to get everything sorted out before I come back officially. What kind of audience do you guys think you are? Yeah, the best audience. I don't know. We have a really tight. I would say we have a really tight community. I have a Discord channel. We all talk. We have. Ori, please go to bed. Ori, please.
God damn it.
Yeah, god damn it, Ori, go to bed. You haven't slept in 30 hours, but same. That's a mood.
Hey? Oi.
That's a real mood. So I kind of get it. I think. How would I put it? I feel like it's a bunch of ragtag people who just all happen to somewhat enjoy being in a community, but don't exactly understand what kind of community they'd fit into, possibly. Because I would say the same for myself, I'm not social, I'm not antisocial. I just really find that I need the right people to spend the time with, and I feel that's at least what I feel about a lot of the audience that I appeal to. They're all people that are kind of like in between. They're not really sure which category they fall into. They just want to have a good time. They just want to have people that they can talk to about things that they enjoy. That's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? And also, I guess I figure all of them are insomniacs. Nobody sleeps. None of us sleep. That's probably why we get along so well. We can talk at any hour of the day. Like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 p.m. It doesn't really matter. We're just always awake.
Fair enough. I used to be able to catch your streams very easily because they were at wild hours, and I was just like, I might as well tune in. But then these days it's become, I have obligations, I need to wake up. Oh, hey, Sasha's streaming. Oh, wait, I should be asleep. Hold up. Wait, shouldn't Sasha be asleep by now?
Yeah, sleep? What sleep? I'm a wolf. I don't sleep.
Oh, boy. The sleepless
Yeah, I
wolf.
think the category that I can best group every single one of us into is the category of people that don't sleep. That's the best one that I can say, because everybody's so diverse, there's not really one type of person, or at least I can't pick out one type of person. Everybody has something to contribute to the community, and that's exactly what keeps the community so alive all the time. We talk about just about anything. We've talked about games, we've talked about movies, we've talked about stonks, stonks. Yeah, we'll talk about, we try to avoid some really difficult topics, but I'm pretty certain, if it comes up, I have confidence that, we talk about Sasha coin. Yeah, we talk about Sasha coin. It's my cryptocurrency.
Oh god, if you actually start a cryptocurrency, good lord.
Yes, and also recently we've been talking a bit more about Among Us.
Christ, no.
Amogus.
So it's
Look at you. Look at your thumb. Everybody, look at your thumb.
Okay.
Amogus.
It got to the point where a bunch of friends and we went to the Maritime Museum down at like Darling Harbour, and there's a Daring class destroyer that's just moored there, and it was open up for free inspection and whatnot. And we had gotten on board. We walked among the decks, checked out the guns, the rooms, whatever, and yeah, one fella looked through just a porthole just into one of the cabins, and we were absolutely horrified.
Amogus.
Yes, quite literally. We saw a bin that happened to be shaped a certain size or certain shape and size, and yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
The first guy who saw it, he backed out and had this massive look of disgust on his face. Then he immediately went like, let's see. If I'm to use aliases here. Eco, look in, don't say a word. I looked in, I saw it, was immediately horrified. I think I came out with the exact same expression. Then went to the next guy. Hana, look in, don't say a word. He looked in as well, came back out, and was immediately a case of we all nod to each other and just scream.
Yep. It's really funny because Alex, I was literally just about to say that. I was gonna say, evolution, please give pattern recognition for what? For for what do you call it? Like, for what? Like avoiding predators or something like that, or anything. Like literally anything. And then it's like, actually notices Amogus. Notices
God.
Amogus. Amogus. Yes, identifying threats. Yeah, but you know.
Oh god.
Amogus.
Let's see if I can't scrounge that picture up somewhere, because I know I've got it around, but yeah, because it is easily the last thing I expected to run into on that particular trip, because it was like basically just a bunch of bros going to take a look at a destroyer because yay, cool naval ship essentially.
Yeah.
But
That's a mood.
instead you run into this.
Oh
And
god.
I will spare the audience the specifics of it, but you can take a look instead. Yes, we took one look into a pothole, and that is what we see. That killed us for obvious reasons.
Oh my god.
You can see it right there. You can tell it's a naval ship.
Oh my god. I
just
hate it.
Why? Why does that exist?
Oh my god. I hate it so much. I hate it and I love it at the same time. So much. Oh my god.
No. Just
And then-
no.
Just like a couple of days ago, Alex shared on the Discord chat the Frank Sinatra I gotta find it now real quick.
Oh boy.
I have to.
Like this has just been one of the memes that has just ruined my life.
I've linked it in the chat. You guys can check.
Rip, you got censored. your link got censored. Just,
my link got censored?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Just shoot it over to me. I'll send it.
Yeah, I'll shoot it over to you. Okay.
Oh god, yeah, it is this one. God, why is it this one?
Well, anyway, I think that's one more thing that we have in common, and one thing that draws a lot of a lot of people to me is the memes. It's the memes.
God,
I have some taste in memes. They're not always. They're not always the same type of memes, but I would like to say that occasionally I do pull out a few good classics.
Oh dear indeed.
Yeah, I would like to thank my early upbringing on 4chan and like what
I
else?
see you were on the Chan too.
Of course I am.
Likewise. I mean, there's some useful stuff there, to an extent. If you go to any of the gacha boards, you find a lot of useful stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But you could also technically go to Reddit and find all this useless stuff and not have.
Not have the rampant shit posting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that's part of the appeal, the rampant shit posting.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. I think back then, I think a lot of my humor, a lot of the jokes I make also come from the fact that I used to frequent, what do you call that? What's that board?
Oh.
X a lot.
I see.
And the humor at X is quite, peculiar because it's just a bunch of people talking about ghosts and the
supernatural board. Yeah.
So naturally, you can imagine what kind of kooks you'd find there, me included.
Oh dear. Were you very big into the supernatural, or were you just there for a laugh?
I like spooky. That's all I can say.
you like spooky, right? Damn you.
I like spooky. Spooky funny.
Damn you. Actually, damn you. But that's
spooky.
Right.
We'll
get back to that one day. Good luck. We'll get back to that one day, because spooky stuff is just
spooky skeleton.
On my own, I do terribly with spooky stuff. With someone else, well, 50-50 shot, but I still get spooked the hell out somehow.
I love spooky stuff, and yes, I love No Sleep. I've been reading creepypasta since forever. Since the days of like, but who has phone? I would straight up do a full read through of all the old creepypastas because they're so good. Let me just casually pull up who has phone. Which I don't even need to actually.
Oh dear.
I actually can remember it, but
Alex just mentioned SCP.
SCP, I love SCP.
Yeah, SCP is good stuff. Yeah.
SCP is good.
There is one specific SCP I love, but that's for weird reasons.
Wait, tell me what.
Let me see if I can find it.
I like the chessboard one. It's Yeah, it's one where apparently like two sisters had their skeletal remains made into a chessboard.
Oh my.
Yeah, that one is fun, real fun. Very fun.
This is the specific one I like.
1689.
So for the viewers at home, this SCP, it's got a pretty interesting. It actually has very interesting reports added to it. It is quite literally a burlap sack of potatoes.
Very nice.
And Addendum 2 is amazing to read. That exploration log is ridiculously well written.
Oh my god, it's an actual expedition log.
Yeah, it's an expedition into a sack of potatoes. Yeah. The ending is
though.
just, yeah, like, oh my god. It's
very
so,
nice.
This one is so well written and so just horrifying. Just that existential dread of potatoes. Of all the damn things to die by.
Pretty little.
I'll probably record a reading of that one sometime, just for prosperity, or posterity rather.
Posterity.
Yeah. Posterity. I mix those two up way too often. Good lord.
I get it. For me, I just say like I do everything for posterity, like way too much. And then to the point where it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, I have to do this. I'm going to do a short reading right now.
Sure. Okay. By all means.
So, you're with your honey, and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer, and the voice says, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she says, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone? Sorry, okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Damn.
Who was fun? And that's a classic. That's
Yeah,
a
I
real
know,
classic.
but still.
Who
Damn
was
it.
fun?
It
And
is
then the
fun.
other one is Man Hand Hook Hand Car Door. That's a fun one.
Eh?
Man Hand Hook Hand Car Door. Do you not know?
I've heard the phrase said a lot. I didn't necessarily know where it came from.
It's a great creepypasta. You should read it one day.
Oh, Christ. I'll set aside a day for reading sometime. Just random stuff. Because the last time I did a lot of reading on stream was actually, let's see, 2 days ago, I think. Because I booted up Sunless Sea for some reason and was just like, you know what? Sunless Sea's fun. May as well just read it as we go.
Maybe
think- yeah.
maybe we can do something like that in the future.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Reading. Sounds fun.
But yeah, the main thing with Sunless Sea though was, let's see. So I played a lot of it. I didn't really pay too much attention to the writing. I kind of glossed over it really fast. So when I started reading back over it, it was a case of, oh god, this writing is really good, but also really hard to read at times. Because it's very eloquent writing. It is just, it doesn't necessarily, so it reads very smoothly. It doesn't speak very smoothly at times.
But yeah, I kind of get what you mean.
Because it flows along really well, but at the same time it's just like, trying to read this out loud is an absolute nightmare. There are some books where it's kind of the opposite, where reading it is kind of weird and saying it out loud gives you something completely different. For instance, there's a series of books called Tales of Redwall. There are a whole bunch of... Tales of Redwall, they're all like these really good children's books, essentially, but they're kind of epic style, essentially. Redwall stuff,
Okay.
they do a lot of the accents specifically in the way characters speak. So you'll have... So it's mainly just animals going to war with one another for the most part. It's kind of dodgy in that regard. Makes for some very good children's books, though.
Okay. I mean, I can kind of see why.
But yeah, you get characters with wildly different accents, and the main one which stands out is any of the mole people. The moles...
Okay.
The moles, they all have a herder sort of accent attached to them. And it makes absolutely zero sense when you're just reading it in your head. But the moment you speak it or say it out loud, suddenly, oh, that makes sense. That's perfectly normal English all of a sudden. How'd you write that down so wrong? But yeah.
Wait, I
It's
like the
good
book
stuff.
about the bird going around asking people if they're his mum. What?
I forget if that was specifically a Redwall book or if that was another book, but yeah, Redwall has had a lot of books, all by the one author. It's like 22 books or 23 books in total. And he was
Sounds quite peculiar.
he was writing all the way to the point where, or he was writing all the way to his deathbed, I think it was, which was unfortunate.
Interesting though. I never really got into reading a lot of fiction. I've always like tend to lean towards non-fiction books.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
kind of non-fiction were you interested in then?
A lot of books about, or existential questioning, philosophy and stuff.
Philosophy.
Yeah, I read a lot of books like that's kind of like metaphysics, or I read a lot of books about like mathematics. I read a lot lot of math books. That's a problem.
Maths.
Yeah, maths. Like
Maths is the one thing I do terribly with.
I love math. It makes so much sense to me, so it's just like something that I really enjoy.
At times it makes absolutely zero sense for me, so I'm just like,
In fact, for me, like one of the things is that I've always been really good at math. So when everything in the world fails me, I go back to math because I know that it's meant to be this way. It's kind of meant to be this way. What's 9 plus 10? I don't know. What's 9 plus 10?
Oh no.
Bonking.
Don't do this. Not like this.
Yeah. But it's mainly like a lot of books about how math can be applied into real life and like how statistics can help you to make better decisions in real life and stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people who basically read by people like me who have no real personality.
Oh, oi, oi.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, that is a very big oof. I don't know, math was one of those things I used to be good at, and then I did a complete 180, and the thing I used to be terrible at became the thing I was good at, which was just switching from, let's see, rather than being good at maths, being good at English instead.
Mm.
Because English stuff became very straightforward after a while. Just like, oh, yeah, you can write as much bullshit as you want, as long as by the end of it, you've made sense of the bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think one of my issues with English is that like if you're writing about a specific topic, sometimes it can be really subjective, and in that sense, you kind of like subjected to a lot of bias.
Oh, yeah, the bias is, like, rough, per se.
Yeah, I mean, like somebody else could have a bias, and then they could read whatever you've written and think that it's absolute rubbish because they just don't have the same perspective, or they don't have they're not reading it um coming through with like a certain set of information that you may have had or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. It comes to that sense of death of the author, I suppose. Just, what did the author think at the time? Does it still matter? Or is the piece meant to stand alone, essentially? Because, like, one of the more famous examples of that, without going into a certain other author I really don't want to give the time of day to, is, let's see, Jrr Tolkien. So, Tolkien, his whole thing on Lord of the Rings, etc., well, his whole series of Lord of the Rings, a lot of people consider as allegory for the Second World War and whatnot, or the World Wars in general. And the man himself came out and said, no, I don't write allegory. I just write experiences. I think that was the specific quote, anyhow. But yeah, it's come to the point where if you take his point of view, then Lord of the Rings is just fantasy, essentially.
Yeah, that is true.
Take the perspective of the time, it becomes relevant to the time period instead.
Definitely.
And then if you take a completely different lens, well, oh boy, everything changes. So, yeah. You know what? I brought up Death of the Author. I have to bring up the worst case possible. There is a certain J.K. Rowling.
Oh god.
Of which retroactively changes everything.
Oh, absolutely, of course. It's fairly infamous by now.
Yeah, just... this character's gay, that character's gay. Good news, this character's gay. Everyone is represented in some way or another, except you didn't put in any of the work to make it so.
Yeah,
So it
that's
really is a
mainly the
case
issue,
of just...
really.
You need to put in the work. You can't do it otherwise. And then the films that she had executive power over, so the Fantastic Beasts series, the first one was really good. The second one, I made the mistake of watching in cinemas.
I thankfully did not. I don't think I did.
Because, yeah, the second Fantastic Beasts one is just, let's see, J.K. Rowling just going completely ham on all of the details she retroactively changed. Like, 100% all in. No holds barred. Dumbledore is gay. Definitely.
Right. Okay, yeah, I remember it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was... And, yeah, Snake Lady, because Voldemort's snake was, for some reason, a Korean circus lady. What? And they actually made it into a proper thing, and that was just like... Wow, you weren't kidding. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, and in terms of critical reception, the film absolutely bombed.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, the fact that I can't really remember what happened in the movie, I think says quite a bit.
Neither can I. I can only remember the start and the end of it.
Yeah, I know
Everything else is an absolute blur.
Johnny Depp, and then, um, yeah, that's all I got. That's
Oh,
all I
right,
got, buddy.
they're replacing him too for the third
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Uh, God.
Christ. In terms of film, do you have any particular preferences then?
Oh, films. Okay, this is a fun one. Sorry, I love this topic because I love movies.
Oh, okay.
I do love movies. I'm quite the fan of anything produced by like most of the stuff that's produced by A24. I'm not sure if you've heard of them before.
Not particularly.
So A24 is like it's like a production company. They do production. They also do distribution. A24 tried to rise up exactly. All of their movies are incredibly, well, not all of them, but most of them are incredibly kino.
Kino, eh?
They're so kino, man. See, this is what my viewers and I talk about. We talk about kino movies.
Kino.
Yeah, we like to use these phrases.
It has been a while since I've heard the phrase kino.
Mm-hmm. Kino. um, I like, I guess because like my favorite movie of like 2019 was The Lighthouse. It was pretty popular at the time, I think. It's a black and white film with Willem Dafoe starring Robert Pattinson as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you heard of it before.
I think I've at least heard of it. Haven't seen it though.
It kind of has a somewhat psychological. I don't really know if I consider it horror really. I'm pretty certain. I'm actually pretty certain that it's classified under horror, but yeah, I didn't. I guess it is psychologically. It is kind of like a horror film. They've also produced Midsommar. I'm sure. I'm sure you know. Do you know Midsommar?
No, not necessarily.
So Midsommar is kind of like the brightest horror movie ever. That's at least that's what it's.
I suppose I'll add that to the list somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like about this girl who goes to Sweden, and she meets a great bunch of people, and they have a really nice summer festival together.
Okay,
It's
that's
a horror movie. Yeah, it's very nice. It's a very beautiful movie. It's very bright. It's very pretty. They're very, very nice colors, and everything else.
But
everything else that comes with it. Yeah, you know,
but
you'll figure it out when you watch it.
It's a horror movie.
Yes, that's right. But amazingly
okay.
enough, a lot of the horror movies that A24 does, or at least they distribute, the ones that actually sit with me the most are not actually even horror movies. If you've seen Uncut Gems, Uncut Gems is starring Adam Sandler as I think he's he sells like jewels and like, I mean the story is the movie is called Uncut Gems. He sells he sells stuff, and he like I think it's based in like New York or something. And he lives a very risky lifestyle where he likes to bet money. He loves to bet. He loves to make deals that he can't guarantee. He just lives everything in uncertainty. And watching that was the most anxiety I've ever experienced in my lifetime, ever. I had to take a break from watching the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because it was so stressful to watch. And it wasn't even a horror movie.
Just peak anxiety.
Well, not really. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I think it says a lot about the film. It's very, very good.
Christ. Yeah, films that can make you feel something are generally up there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really good with horror movies. Like I don't get scared very easily. I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
we've
Damn you.
we've like talked about this before, and I generally handle horror pretty well. But something about that kind of anxiety, horror, psychological impact kind of, thing. Oh god, it drives me insane. I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling that you'd hate it as much as I did too.
I'll give it a shot sometime. Sounds
Yeah, it's
interesting
really
at the
good.
very least. Because Adam Sandler, what the?
Yes, he had a amazing performance. Honestly, amazing. He's really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh god.
Let's see. Film. I can't say I'm the most picky person when it comes to film.
Mhm.
At least not very much the kind of person which ends up watching a lot of the popular stuff. I think the most popular thing I was dragged to was Avengers Endgame, and that was it. Really. And then for the most
I also was
yeah.
dragged to that actually.
Because, yeah, actually, yeah, Endgame I actually watched with Kaiman, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
because I happened to be at an art session at some time, and afterwards he was like, hey, you want to watch Endgame? I'm like, I mean, sure, why not? And I got dragged along. And they shouted out the big spoiler at the end. Or someone shouted out the
Oh
big spoiler
no.
on the end, doing a
Oh, that's
drive-by.
horrible.
Like, doing a drive-by on a motorcycle, just screamed it out. I was just like, wow, okay. I mean, I heard the spoiler before, thanks to some bastard on Facebook, but yeah, I guess that one confirms it.
Wait, a drive-by? As in, what kind of cinema were you at?
Oh, it's just like this small independent sort of cinema that happened to get a
Uh-huh.
copy, and we were just lining up outside.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. That's what
So
you mean.
yeah, a guy
I thought
did
you were
a
watching the
drive-by on a
film and...
motorcycle, and yeah,
Okay.
spoiled the damn thing while everyone was waiting in line.
Oh, well, there are people like that. I've gotten into quite an argument with someone like that in my time.
Actually, this is a fairly interesting one, or fairly interesting question to ask in that regard of, what's your opinion on spoilers?
My opinion on spoilers. Personally, I'm not too picky on it. Like, I don't really mind if somebody were to tell me. Definitely I prefer they make cars go fast. I definitely would prefer to experience it myself, but I do get quite upset with spoilers, purely because I know that there are a lot of people who would really much prefer to have, watch a movie or play a game or literally do anything without having to, having that experience kind of ruined for them.
Go in blind, yeah.
Yeah, and I've had instances where I have had acquaintances be exactly that guy on the motorcycle, shouting the spoilers to everybody else or speaking it really loudly, and then me being myself, I can't take that kind of thing sitting down, so I picked an open fight with this person.
Oh, wow.
And I argued with them very loudly. I didn't even care about the spoiler, honestly. I didn't care about it at all, because it's not something... it was for Endgame, or maybe what's someone before that?
Infinity War?
Yes, Infinity War, I think. So it was pretty big, and I know that there are a lot of people who are avid fans who, haven't had the chance to watch it yet. So when this person did that, I snapped. I just he was right behind me. I turned around and I just, oh my god, I let him have it. At the end of it, he was like, "Why don't you cover your ears?" Like, excuse me. Yes, I ate him. He died. He's dead now. I've eaten him.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of being considerate, because it doesn't take a lot of effort for you to not be a toxic individual and ruin something for somebody else. But in doing so, you've ruined an entire experience for somebody else who hasn't had the chance to, who's been waiting to have that experience, or excited, but they just haven't had the chance to do it yet. And I think that's really, really irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are certain things that I'm fine with. Like if you spoil a series that's been out for a couple of years, like for example, I know some people get really upset when somebody posts like JoJo spoilers or something. But okay, JoJo's been out for like,
Decades, pretty
for
much.
decades, exactly. Um, so for that kind of thing, I tend to be a bit more lenient. But if you know that what you're doing is intentionally done to to ruin somebody else's experience, then you honestly just deserve somebody eating you up, probably.
So here's the thing. I'm a real piece of work at times when it comes to spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of I pretty much don't care at all
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to spoilers. In fact, spoilers at times, for myself at least, can sometimes become more of an incentive to actually
Mm-hmm.
go and see something. Because one of the dumbest things I used to do, actually, but one of the dumbest things by far was I'd pick up a book, I'd read the first page, then I'd read the last page.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. I can see why you do that.
Yeah, I'd read the
I
first page, then the last page, and then go back through the entire lot and figure.
mm,
And in the back of my mind would always be, how did it get to that? How did it get to that? Or
mm,
how did it come to this? And some of the weirder ones, I think, was the time I read 1984. First page and the last page of that one, you just think, what the hell happened?
that's fair. For me, I honestly think it's a matter of having the choice to having the opportunity to make that choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether or not you have the option of spoiling yourself or just choosing to enjoy the experience. But if somebody comes in and does that for you, then that's honestly where the issue lies. It's not whether or not you are spoiled in the first place, it's whether or not you had the option to have that information revealed to you or not,
Yeah.
right?
Wherever that was taken away from you, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So for me as well, I'm not particular on spoilers. Sometimes I know I'm gonna go see a movie or I'm gonna play a game, but I ask a friend anyway, and I just ask like, hey, can you just tell me what happens? And I just want to experience the journey as I get there, and then I'm fine with knowing the ending. Then I just want to experience how it gets to that point as well. So I kind of understand how you feel, but to have something taken away from you, that's where the issue really lies.
Yeah.
At least that's for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Because, yeah, myself, when I'm talking about stuff with other people, I normally preface it first by saying, oh, yeah, this will probably be a spoiler. Either this will probably be a massive spoiler or this will probably be a minor spoiler, whatnot, before I
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and state whatever the heck it is. And if it's something I consider that would get people more interested, then I'd be more liable to actually say it. But if it's something that just flat out ruins the experience, then it's more a case of, probably not best
Yeah,
idea to
definitely.
reveal it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is really a case by case basis. There's no one catch all for all of these things.
Hmm.
Um, and it's also based on the individual. Some people really much prefer spoilers. Some people prefer spoilers because it helps them to prepare before going into something, or you know. Um,
Yeah.
but then it's all a matter about how considerate you are, right? Like if you're considerate to what other people want and understand that it shouldn't be your choice to determine how somebody enjoys a piece of media,
Fair
then
enough.
I think that's where it comes from.
Let's drag it a bit back to streaming. How do you feel
Hmm.
about backseating?
Backseating. That's kind of interesting. With streaming, I don't really mind backseating as much.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I do understand that it's something that comes along with, like, I don't know, it comes along with the whole experience. Like, people are gonna backseat game, and I don't necessarily pay attention all the time to what people say. But I do quite enjoy. Maybe it's because my viewers are all amazing and they're funny, and we usually have the same line of thought. So uh, I don't have that much of an issue with it. They don't. I guess it's just you can kind of tell like it's suggestions. But funnily enough, in my personal life, if somebody were to backseat game for me, I'd get incredibly mad. I have told people off. I've been yeah. I've had some bad experiences where I tell people, I just directly tell them to stop and just go away, straight up go away. But with streaming, I understand that some people aren't really very fond of it. And that's fair, being a streamer doesn't necessarily mean that you're subject to the control of your chat. The chat is supposed to be there. I mean, some people say the chat's supposed to be there for suggestions. Some people feel that the chat's supposed to be there just to watch you as a streamer have your experience. So it's hard to say exactly. There's no right or wrong, but it's just best to respect the streamer's wishes. For me, I'm happy. I'm happy to have I'm happy to have people tell me what to do. I'm happy to have people give suggestions. But I am fairly confident that despite that, I'll still be stubborn enough to take my own choices. But I'm happy to listen to suggestions. That's the thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I just heard mahjong being mentioned. Good lord.
Mahjong. I'm sure if my chat was a little bit more pushy, they'd tell me like I'm rubbish at mahjong and I should quit. Honestly, I don't always play that way. It's only because sometimes I think it's funny. I think it's funny to play in a certain way, and I know it'll cause you guys specific intense pains. So that's why I do it. I do it for you.
I see. You've done this. Good
yes,
lord, you've done this.
I really do it for you. Pain. For pain.
So what got you into mahjong to start with?
I've been playing mahjong ever since I was a kid.
oh dear.
Yes, many different variations of mahjong. Because I have a very diverse family. So I've had the opportunity of trying many different types of mahjong. Funnily enough, when I first became a VTuber, I thought that not really many people were streaming mahjong. Now everybody's streaming mahjong. It's kind of crazy to me.
It trended upwards very fast. Yeah.
Very quickly. It was very terrifying. I was like, oh god, what's happening? Everybody's playing mahjong all of a sudden. Yeah, but for me, yeah, I started mahjong very young. Trained to be a sit-in player, obviously.
Wow.
As with most people are. When you don't have enough players, train the kid.
Oh,
train the kid.
I've actually got a funny story about that. I'll save it till after, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how I started, and I loved it because it was relaxing, it's fun, and it challenges me just enough, but not too much that I can't play it at the end of the day. And then after that, yeah, the rest is history. I just kind of kept playing mahjong constantly. I've been playing. I just got constant. I never really stopped actually. I just kept playing throughout the years. It's fun. Yeah.
Because myself, I was initially picked up as someone just to sit in and just draw and drop tiles, essentially.
Yep.
I was functionally the mahjong bot.
Yep, basically.
Because I was, for the first 2 years, I did not play mahjong properly at all. Riichi specifically, I played in the wrongest way possible, and every round would be a penalty or a chombo, essentially, if I won it. Unless it was Chitoi, of which case Chitoi and Toitoi were the only two hands I actually knew how to play.
Yep, it usually is the case.
Yeah, every other hand, I had
really.
zero clue what made a hand until the third year of playing, and then I learned how to actually play, and I was like, holy shit, this makes a lot more sense. Rather than playing chicken mahjong, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
For
became...
me...
Yeah. So the funny thing was, though, in the year that I actually properly learnt, there was 3 people that actively played mahjong, and occasionally a 4th. So we needed someone reliable to learn the game. So we looked around the club room. We were like, snooping out a bunch of people. Hey, you see that guy over there? Let's see if I'm to give this guy an alias. Hey, you see Ami over there? He comes here pretty often. He plays a lot of card games. He seems like he'd be the right kind of guy. Actually, no, rather than Ami, the first guy we pointed out was a fellow named JU. And we were just like, yeah, he seems like the right kind of guy. He wanted to learn how to play Mahjong too. Let's see if we can't drag him to be our fourth. And we dragged him to be our fourth at first for a little while. But it turned out he was kind of shit at it, like really shit. To the point where his friend, a fellow named Ami, was there pretty much backseating him the whole time. And eventually we realized, wait, why don't we just get Ami to play?
Yeah, that makes more sense, I mean.
Yeah. And we swapped him in, and he turned out to be one of the scariest players.
It's more of a fun thing and terrifying thing to have a player like that.
Yeah. Because out of the players at that specific club, when it came to tournaments, I was probably at the top, but when it came to general play, he was head and shoulders above everyone else, easily. He was scarily consistent, because he learnt the game inside out. He got plain just addicted and learnt the whole damn thing. It was just like, damn, that's horrifying.
For me, it's really funny because like the reason why I play Mahjong Soul the way I play the Mahjong Soul is because there are no penalties. There are no real penalties. Like what? I'm gonna pay a little bit of money in game, or I'm gonna wait. No, I don't even pay money in game. I do actually. Wait, because you have to pay. Really little, and it's like nothing to me.
Yeah.
You know. Whereas, in real life, I've had like I've joined like game clubs where you play mahjong and you'd bet money, or you'd play cards and you'd bet money, or basically it always involved money somehow, because people love to play like an incentive, and it kind of gives you a reason to play very seriously. And in those situations, I am incredibly serious, and I usually come out on top because I don't like losing money, because I need this money for other things, like gacha, and it's always nice to take home a little bit of extra for whatever reason,
Fair enough. When it came to tournament settings, I immediately switched, and I apparently play like a completely different person.
Yeah, it's just a switch that you turn on. Yeah, like Skebs. No, I haven't gotten a Skeb in forever.
We have to talk about the two Skebs. Those two.
Oh my god, no.
Sorry, we have
to. We don't have to.
Because I woke up, I checked my Twitter for a moment, then immediately just went like, what? The first one, I was like, oh wait, she actually ordered something like that. Then I checked Scab and was like, oh boy.
Oh my god. Oh man.
While I was like, damn, that's some good art. At the same time, I was like, Sasha?
Oh, don't worry. I had the same reaction, which is very funny, considering I actually knew it was in production. I was just as shocked myself, so it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Oh dear, like this.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh god.
Like, me waking up to that was just like a hold up, you what?
Same reaction. I was like, can I hide this in some way? You know what? Wait, let me double check. Can I hide this? Because I would very much prefer.
It is very quality, I will say.
Off the face of Earth, real quick.
It is quality though.
It is. The art is really good. It is very, very good. But it is,
Eroi.
Yeah. Somehow I knew what was gonna happen, but I didn't think it through.
Reminder, you described all of these details.
I know I did. I know. I don't.
If I had to ask, what was going through your head at the time?
Oh, nothing, probably.
Eh, is that so? It's very detailed, that description.
Mm. Mm.
God damn it.
Let me give me one quick minute, and I will see. Oh my god.
Because yeah, it's all in Japanese, of course, but me reading along it, it's just like, oh boy, you actually specified that much.
I think I saw a different picture. I thought it looked good, and then I kind of like, I somewhat referenced it. I was like, I think it would be interesting to see this, and that's what I thought. And then yeah, you know, it was a freaking mistake. It was a freaking mistake.
Yes, the thumb was in the description of all damn things.
Please stop calling me out. Oh my god. Oh my god, my entire face is like...
I just find it hilarious that you actually
It's really
specified
cute.
the details so much. But yes, it did come out really nice. But damn.
Yeah, damn indeed.
Damn, yeah. The illusion of you being say-so was broken the moment we did that 16.5 stream.
That's true, that's true.
At the same time, I'm not 100% surprised, but it is a case of, damn, Sasha, damn.
Oh, don't worry. I probably woke up and I said the same thing. Damn, Sasha. Damn. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what was going through my head.
Then the other one
Maybe I was looking at
just
too much artwork.
Artwork, yes, a very specific kind of artwork.
Artwork.
Yes.
It is art. You know?
It is art.
Fine art.
Oh boy.
In its most natural form.
Yes, indeed. So, do explain the rationale behind the other one then. Why the muzzle?
What do you mean, why the muzzle? Okay, well, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I said that you know, my initial design was meant to have a muzzle on. Look, it's understandable. I'm a wolf. I'm gonna bite. Don't you want to feel safe around me? You know?
Oh boy. Christ.
Yeah.
Why does that make enough sense at the same time as, god damn it, why?
Exactly. Well, also, you know, I just happen to think that the aesthetic of a muzzle looks very... It's very pleasing. I think it's very cute. It's very moe.
Moe?
It's very moe. It's like, otherwise I can't control myself from biting you. That's why I have to wear a muzzle. That kind of moe. Oh, you think so?
I mean,
Some moe.
And one of your emotes is literally you taking a chunk out of someone's arm.
That's true. That's why I need a muzzle. Yeah, for the so that I don't bite people, so that I don't maul people.
Oh boy.
It's preventative measures.
Preventative measures. But the chain attached and everything else.
It was meant to be like partially, potentially. It's still in the process, but for 2.0, but it's potentially meant to be backstory related. So.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, boy. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm excited to talk about that a bit more, but you know, we'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put on screen for the viewers something because they mentioned why declare Yakuman when you can declare Tanya. So I'm just gonna throw this up for a moment, and if you understand this, then yes, you very much do know how to play Mahjong. It's a pretty simple screen, actually. Yeah, it's definitely just an Ipeco. That's all you're declaring there. It's just Ipeko.
Hmm.
You totally didn't just throw something much more valuable out the window. No. Good lord. If I ever see someone declare this at a table, I am going to just...
Painful.
Yeah,
Very painful.
that is extreme pain to look at. Yeah, it's just Ipeko. Definitely just an Ipeko.
Wait, give me a quick moment. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Alright.
Okay.
That is totally not throwing out a Suanko. Don't.
Oh, it's so freaking cursed. The
Okay,
more I look at it,
that's enough of that. That's enough of that.
I didn't mute myself to sneeze. I did not, but I was very cold and I turned on the heater.
Wait, what?
And I did not sneeze.
Right. Your sneezes. I understand. That's all I'll say.
You understand? What do you mean? What does it
Zyron,
mean?
I understand Zyron's perspective.
Wait, what?
I understand. That is all.
Yeah, I figure. Since the beginning, before I debuted, we would have some conversations, and then when I sneezed, he'd be like, "Clip that now," and I would just be like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh right, you're not streaming yet."
I mean, it is. It's adorable. That's all I'll say.
Thank you. It's very funny. A lot of people think that it's like a fake sneeze. That's something that I do to make it look more moe. But no, I genuinely can't control it. This is it. This is how it is. I wish it wasn't this way, but it is. Because then I would be laughed at less often. Can you imagine? Every time I'm in a quiet room, every time I'm in a library, any time where I'm in like a crowded space and then I sneeze and then everybody looks at me and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
I normally just mute my sneezes, so it's just like, yep. You barely hear it, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, that guy dabbed for some reason, okay. If you sneeze into your elbow, no one hears it, so they only have the visual to go off of, you know?
They're like, Sasha, you're not allowed to mute your sneezing. Why?
Also, someone actually redeemed that. Let's see.
Yes.
Chocolate milk. That this is a bar. Give him chocolate milk. All right. Closest equivalent to chocolate milk. Let's see. Maybe some Baileys. Yep, Baileys will do. Give it however many working days I said it would take to deliver. Yep, you'll get it someday eventually. I will not live to see that day, or yes. Anyway, it'll come eventually. Don't worry about it.
Chocolate.
Chocolate milk.
Sounds good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, dabbed must be a Fortnite. God damn it.
Are you a Fortnite player?
No, God no. I
figured
tried it twice and I couldn't get behind it at all.
I haven't even tried it at all.
Because, I don't know, Battle Royale games just don't really click with me.
Ah, really? I love
Yeah.
Apex though. So good.
Like, when I play Battle Royale, it's a case of I'm the kind of person which prefers having a lot of lives rather than one life, essentially. So having one life just kind of feels terrible at times.
Wait till you realize what real life is like.
Yeah, I know, right? Existential crisis will be inbound in 5 seconds. Anyway. Yeah, having one shot is just, I'm not a fan of it, is the thing.
Yeah, I can see why.
Like, Apex is the one I tolerate, mainly
Oh, really?
because rather than feeling like a horror game, Apex feels a lot more like a thriller instead. Because coming from PUBG specifically, you go extremely long stretches without seeing anyone, and it starts getting to your head. You're just
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's just like, is there someone
I
there? Is
kind
there
of get
someone
it.
there? Is there someone there? And you freak the hell out the moment you hear some footsteps. PUBG
Yeah.
plays more like a collective horror game than it does a battle royale.
I can kind of see what you mean. I think that's one of the reasons why I couldn't get into PUBG actually, because
Yeah, the maps are huge.
it is truly,
Yeah.
it is truly. I mean, that's why they have the cars and everything as well, right?
Yeah, the vehicles exist for that
honestly, it's just
reason. Without them,
I did
it
think
would
it was
be,
a bit much.
yeah, without them it'd be a bit unplayable.
Also, I just want to let everybody know that Train Simulator 2021 is on sale. That's all I had to say.
Oh boy. But no, Apex on the other hand feels very much like you're playing a game, essentially. You're right there, straight into the thick of it. Action is actually what you want to do, not what you want to avoid.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. Like sometimes, I mean, sometimes I do play the like slightly more cowardice strat, like where you kind of like rat for the whole game and then you don't show up and then at the end you're like the last few and then you just happen to win.
Ah, yes, being a rat.
But other than that, yeah, Apex is one of those games where a lot of the time, you know, one of the good things to do is just to like go straight into the action and just kind of like improve from there. I think that's actually one of the reasons why I really couldn't get into PUBG. I played just two games, and then I had it refunded because I couldn't get into it. I just like I don't get it. What is this game? Is it just like
boy.
wasteland simulator? Am I just like running around in an empty field? What's going on? Yeah, couldn't get into it.
If I had to recommend you a game of which kind of ticks quite a few boxes for you, have you ever heard of Escape from Tarkov?
No, oh, I think I've seen it, but I haven't played it.
Oh boy, give it a shot sometime. It's a very unique experience. Is the
Okay.
way I can put it. It ticks a lot of the Russian boxes, at least, anyway.
All right, I'll check it
But
out.
there has never been a game which has given me more existential dread than Tarkov.
Oh no.
That is my main way of putting it. So, imagine if you were playing PUBG, but suddenly that loot isn't temporary. That loot is permanent, and you want to get out of there with the loot.
Wait, so the loot carries on to like the next game? Is that what you mean?
Kind of. You bring it back to like a stash, and then you can choose what you want to come back out with, essentially. If you live.
Somehow, when I think about that, the only thing I can think about is getting PK'd in RuneScape. That's the only thing my brain is saying. Don't get PK'd, don't get PK'd, and then losing everything.
Because the thing with Tarkov is very much screaming in your mind, don't get PK'd, don't get shot, don't get shot, don't get shot. Because the moment you hear gunfire, you don't run towards it in Tarkov. You run away.
Oh god.
I will say it is a very fun game to play on stream, sheerly because of the ridiculous amount of anxiety you're going to give your viewers.
Fun. Okay. I'll look into it. Sounds interesting.
There's a lot of animation porn in the sense of the animations in that game are so good, essentially. You have animations for eating individual sugar cubes, for God's sake.
Oh my god. I like that.
Like it's just,
I like it when people put the detail on the things that seem the most minuscule.
Yeah, it's just really nice in that regard. But yeah. Anyhow, I think I'll go for one more question and then we'll call the interview there because it's going on almost 2.5 hours at this point. Anyhow. Because
okay.
Realistically, I think I could just talk to you for a really damn long time, but hey, you and I, we both need to sleep at some point, you know?
Do we? Or do you?
I mean, I don't really need to sleep tonight either, but hey. the viewers, give some consideration.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because, yeah, they are up at some damn weird hours right now. Some of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's
But yeah,
true.
the last question I'll
Just
toss at
spare
you
them.
is, let's say, I know you're a drinker, so recommend something to drink. Alcoholic.
What do I usually drink? I usually have a whiskey on the rocks, or yeah, that's usually it. I usually just have a whiskey on the rocks. That's usually my drink. I am, in a very weird sense, I am very financially responsible when I drink, so I usually just get the house pour. So I'm just like, what do you guys have? Actually, no, forget it. I'll have the house pour. Yeah, but it's a nice drink. You know, it keeps you nice and warm. It's mature yet not too heavy. And yeah, I don't know about whiskey. It just makes me very happy, very comfortable,
Any
comfy.
specific brand that you've liked, or?
No, not really, because I mean, as I mentioned, I usually just go for house pour. And I buy whatever I can get my hands on. Honestly, whatever is on discount.
Let's see, the house pour for a lot of places is usually Johnny Walker's Red Label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So usually, I think I do drink a lot of Johnny Walker's Black Label. And plus, you know, sometimes when you get to like duty free at the airport, a lot of the time it's also, you know, it's also one of the cheapest things there.
Yeah, it generally is. Yeah.
So, yeah, Johnny Walker's. Not that it's a favorite. It's just all I usually have. That's why.
If I had to choose particular favorites for whiskey, it'd either be Canadian Club or Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. Oh yeah, Maker's Mark is so good.
Yeah, because one friend of mine always, if I invite him to a party, almost always brings along some Maker's Mark, and I am bloody thankful for it.
Very generous friend you have.
I mean, everyone pretty much brings drinks, essentially, because the way I normally ran most of my parties pre-COVID was, if it was drinks, people would BYO, essentially. Because the most I could provide was probably leftovers from other parties, pretty much.
Wow, parties. I can't remember what that's like anymore.
It's been way too long, really.
I'm just, I don't know, like stuck in the forest or something at this point.
But yeah. I used to be very much a whiskey fella as well. I'm not sure 100% what converted me to gin, or the exact moment that converted me to just drinking a lot more gin. I know part of it was Zyron's influence, for bloody sure.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Mr. Gin and Tonic.
Yeah, that guy, I don't know what it was, but every time like I went drinking with that guy, it was a gin and tonic. And I drank with him a few times, and it was fun. We even did drunk karaoke at some point, but yeah.
Wow.
That guy's singing is a lot of Kamen Rider. Just a lot of Kamen Rider. Like, damn.
I gotta say, that's good. That's a good thing.
But yeah, it was gin and tonic all the way for that guy, and that taste rubbed off on me, because if I was at a bar, if I go to a bar, I'm usually very economical as well, so it's usually just gin and tonic, because like, that's enough of a bar drink, kinda. No one really, how does one say? No one really requests to have a taste of your drink, at least.
That's true. That's true. If you always go for the classic drinks, then people usually don't ask you for a taste.
Because yeah, the times I've ordered anything fancier are usually the times where, hey, can I have a sip of that? And then it goes around and everyone wants a bloody sip of the damn thing. And it's like, damn it.
That is pretty frustrating. Thankfully, I never get that, because all I ever get is a whiskey.
If I
And
were to
everybody
say,
has tried a whiskey.
If I were to say the second thing I order the most, it's probably, let's see, after gin and tonic would be, Damn it, I had it in my mind for just a moment, then I lost it. It was another spirit-based thing, but yeah.
Absinthe.
Like hell. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to order a green fairy and just die by the end of the night.
Oh my god. I've had some experiences. Well, not really. Not with absinthe, but just bad choices from
Boy.
bad influences.
What's the worst that you've drunk before?
Well, I suppose. I guess a graveyard. Is it a graveyard? I think it's a pretty popular drink.
Graveyard. I think.
Graveyard.
Let's see.
Drink.
It's likely a drink of some kind. If it's a riff on a Long Island iced tea, then that definitely exists, and those are just made to just completely fuck you up. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I had it when I visited a friend of mine in their country. I didn't really know what kind of drinks there were. It was just so overwhelming. There were so many things on the menu, and I'm not a cocktail drinker. I'm not a cocktail drinker. I never have a cocktail. And then, everybody was getting one. So why not, right? Just give it a go. I have no idea what's in there. I honestly have no idea what's in there. I don't want to know what's in there. It felt like death. I mean, it was a very, very very apt name.
Let's see. According to Alex, it's a very balanced drink. Holy hell, that is an extremely balanced drink, actually. But you know what they say? Sometimes adding all the sums of something doesn't exactly equate to yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's quite funny because if you travel a lot, many different countries kind of have like different cocktails that are, very, very special. I'll call it special. It's special in the way that makes you feel like horrible after you've drunk it.
Streamlabs ended up timing out Alex.
Oh no!
Damn it.
Oh, Alex.
Careful about links. Yeah, it auto fetches them to stop like random shit. Anyway. But yeah, unique cocktails. I can't say that I've found too many in Australia, at least. Like, there's one bar that I go to frequently, of which serves a lot of variations on drinks, but they're all very weeby, essentially.
Oh, weeby.
How does one explain? When you have a drink on the menu that's called the senpai, something's a bit mind you,
That's kind of funny though.
It was I'm trying to remember what it was like, what it was made of, actually, because I'm pretty sure they have it on their menu. Let's see. Alright, so the senpai was Suntory Toki blended whiskey, some peach wine, apple vinegar, lemon, and whiskey barrel bitters is specifically what it was made of. So it's a whiskey cocktail, essentially. It was an interesting one. I guess that's the reason behind its taste, I guess. Its naming.
It does sound a bit,
Sounds on the mature side of things.
It does.
Compared to the other stuff on here, which is a bit on the funnier sides.
Yeah. It's a lot of weird drinks out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I think that's one of the fun parts as well, of like going around to try everything.
Because there's another drink on this menu simply called the Yeehaw.
I kind of wish it was called the Yohi or something.
Christ. But let's see, this one is spiced rum, Montenegro, red bean paste. coconut cream, black walnut bitters, and haw flake. Well, there's a haw in there anyway.
What?
Uh,
Haw flake?
no idea what those are. Wouldn't have a clue.
Well, what's a haw flake? What is this? That's so weird. It just looks like a... I don't know. It looks like a piece of cardboard or something. I don't know what that is.
It's a flake of some kind, I guess.
I mean, I figure.
Yeah, the description of the graveyard. Mix the 5 whites and 2 whiskies in a beer mug in equal amounts. Top the rest of the mug with half beer and stout. Warning, very strong stuff. Do not attempt to drink it if you're not a good drinker. You'll be sending yourself to your own graveyard. What's the name of the drink?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Are you a particularly strong drinker?
I used to be. I used to be. Like I'm not really so much of a social drinker. I don't do a lot of drinking outside. I do a lot of at home. I'm gonna pour myself a whiskey, or I'm gonna finish a whole bottle of whiskey on my own and like do a bunch of crosswords or do like a Sudoku book, and, like just kind of get that out of the way. So I do drink a lot in that aspect, but not so good with cocktail drinks. Don't do so good with tequila. Don't do so good with vodka. No, none of that. But anything that kind of has a more
sipping, more
Yeah.
sipping sort of stuff, I guess.
I would say that I handle that pretty well. But anything that's kind of like towards the wilder side, oh god, kill me. It will give me the worst headache in the world. And, like that's why I really avoid that as much as I can.
Yeah, in that case, if there's one simple cocktail I can recommend, and this is actually my second go-to because I've now remembered it, it's simply what's called a Moscow Mule.
Sounds really familiar for some reason.
It's a pretty simple drink, really. It's more or less a alcoholic ginger beer. Or ginger ale.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, it's quite simple. It just has a very specific requirement for what you serve it in.
Vodka.
Yeah, it's ginger beer, vodka, some lime. And that's it.
In a copper mug.
Specifically in a copper mug. It is not a Moscow Mule without the copper mug.
That's really interesting. Why? Okay, wait. I just see it there. Why does a Moscow Mule have to be in a copper cup? Okay, copper is a superior thermal conductor, so copper mugs respond to the temperature of what is inside, keeping it chilled or warm depending on the beverage. When containing a Moscow Mule, copper mugs become cool, creating a chilling sensation when sipped.
Yeah, the vessel matters a lot for that one.
Very interesting.
It's a case of it's a very refreshing drink, essentially. And that's kind of the drinks I normally go to, essentially.
Huh. I've never been quite the fan of like refreshing drinks, but this actually sounds really interesting. At least I'd be interested in trying one.
The way a certain friend of mine makes it, or rather my best friend, she mixes in a bit of simple syrup as well, so it's a bit sweeter as well. So it ends up having a fairly nice palate. And that was actually what convinced me that ginger ale isn't so bad after all. Because I used to hate the stuff. Because it was just like needlessly spicy and kind of aggressive on one's palate. But then, yeah, after that it was like, damn, alright, I can get behind this. Maybe it's just the bias I have because my best friend mixed it, but hey. That one, she is way too far down the hole of mixology.
Oh god.
Like, there are like 3 people I know which are way too far down. At least in my personal life. That's my best friend. Another friend of mine that goes by Cogito these days, at least online. He's a science man. Definitely a science man. He wants to start doing videos on scientific stuff, at least. Like, just simple experiments, talking with scientists and whatnot. That kind of affair. So similar format to what I've got here, just very academic instead.
I think I actually remember him on a Discord or something.
Yeah, he popped in once or twice, I think. Anyhow, and then the last guy that I know is very good with mixing stuff is Kaiman.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Ah,
That guy.
unexpected of
That
Papa.
guy's a really good drinker. Is the thing.
Wow. I never would have expected.
I mean, I've seen the best and the worst of that guy at times, but hey, I still consider him a brilliant bastard. But yeah, when it comes to drinking, let's see, we were having, let's see, I had a bottle of Kraken, which is just spiced rum, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Poured out a bit for myself, and was like, hey, you want some? He's like, yeah, sure, blah, blah. Then we joked about tolerance, and he took that as more or less like a challenge. And he just took a full swig of the damn stuff.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, damn. Alright, go for it. His tolerance is pretty damn good, I will say.
Actually, you know
It's...
what? I
yeah.
take it back. I remember what's the worst drink I've had.
Oh.
You know what a brain hemorrhage is?
Okay, just the name of that alone already sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's one of the worst drinks I've ever had, probably, because you drink one and you don't feel it. You don't feel it at all. Not at all. And then you drink two, and then you're like, I feel fine. And then by that time, you're at 6 of them, and then you realize this may not be such a good idea. And I've only done that one time because my friend told me that it would be fine, and it was just a fun drink. It was just a sweet drink, and I was like, okay, I don't come out often, you know.
Oh.
I don't do this. I don't do that kind of thing. I've never even been. I'm like the kind of person who's never even been to a club before in my life, you know. So I'm
fair.
I'm very closed up in that sense. So I'm like, you know what? This sounds nice. Okay, it's a sweet drink. Why not? 6 of them. Let's go.
It's called a
Oh my
brain
god.
hemorrhage.
Don't ever do that. Don't
Oh
ever do
boy.
that. It's a nightmare. And I remember why I don't drink so much. Why I stay at home and I have my sipping drinks and I do my puzzles and then I go to bed. Or, you know, whatever else. And I
Fair
don't
enough.
do crazy party drinks. Never do crazy party drinks.
Yeah, I'm
Ever.
normally more of a sipper myself as well, because
Yeah.
it's just I have whatever refreshing drink I have to keep me up, and then yeah. The irony with refreshing drinks is they'll wake you up when you sip them, but after a while the alcohol gets to your head and then you start falling asleep.
Yep, that's right.
So they're good to have at the end of the day. It's just a kind of like, yeah, refresh. Just a nice little reset, forget about everything that happened throughout the day, all the BS you had to deal with, and then just sleep.
Yep.
Ah,
That's really what's nice about it.
yeah, that's why there's one very simple redeem on my channel, which is just mix a drink. 99% of the time, that is going to be either a Moscow Mule or a gin and tonic. One of the two.
I just saw your redeems. 2,000 points per mahjong lesson.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
be saving up
Oh,
for that.
boy.
Yeah, just don't drink. Just don't drink in your
Yeah.
golden. True, that's true. 100% true. That's me now. I have my coffee, I have my tea, and then I have my water. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I mean, I've been
I'm
sipping
a
at a
good
gin
girl.
and tonic this entire night, but hey, no one needs to know that. Not until the end here.
Well, yeah, you just revealed yourself.
Someone has to sit through the entire interview to get to that detail anyway, and I haven't been acting particularly drunk.
Not true. You've been awfully sober.
Let's see. Yeah, the redeems I have are interesting to say the least. I still need to make icons for a few of them, mainly all the fortune-telling ones.
I haven't actually done any icons for my redeems either, which I should actually.
Oh my. But yeah, the ones I don't have iconed out is one card reading or one card fortune, where I just draw a single card from a tarot deck, and what you get is what you get. Free cards, where you ask a question, I lay out 3 cards and quickly do the reading. And the last one is a full spread, and full spreads are miserable to do.
Oh god.
It's a case of, I think they're like 10 cards long, usually. So it's a process which takes 20 to 30 minutes, usually.
Oh god, that's crazy.
But
Something
hey.
about fortunes like terrify me.
Oh, what particular thing terrifies you about them?
Somehow, like, you know, if somebody tells you that you're gonna have bad luck, or something isn't gonna go your way in a particular area, like if you were to ask them about your career or something like that, and they tell you like you're expecting some change, you're expecting some. I know most of the time it's not gonna be like a black or white answer. A lot of the time it's kind of like a very vague. What do you call that? It's just more of like a guiding point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Generally
with me,
speaking, it's advisory. Yeah.
yeah, it's advisory, right? But with me, I tend to take it in the worst way possible, and I'm like, everything's gonna go wrong, and then I start panicking, and I'm just like, I gotta prepare for everything. I gotta prepare for all the worst scenarios ever, and that's why I never try to get my fortune checked.
Don't mind me,
I
I'm
don't
just
think I
shuffling
could
some
handle
cards in the
it.
background.
I can't. Like, it would freak me out so bad, and then I would think about it for weeks, and I'd be like, oh god, my life is gonna come to an end. And it's all from this one card.
Apologies for what I'm about to do then. Let's
No.
see. 1, 2, 3. Sasha's streaming career in the near future. Oh boy. Oh,
Oh,
shit. Oh god. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate.
Oh my,
That's really unfortunate.
oh my god, are you kidding me?
I mean, it
Igor.
it reads fine. Maybe. Okay. I'll list out the cards which are here. So there's the Hanged Man, there's the Sun, and there's the Fool. All 3 of them are in the reverse position.
I don't know what that means, so I'm just gonna.
So upright positions are normally read as they are. Reverse is usually, well, not exactly the opposite, tend to be towards the opposite or different meaning. For instance, let's see. The card Death, for instance, normally means rather an ending to things and the beginning of change. In the reverse position, it normally means the continuation of things and a refusal to change. So reverse cards usually aren't the worst thing possible. Just in this case, the cards that you have reversed are a bit on the troublesome side.
Oh my god.
So let's say the Hanged Man. Yeah, this makes almost too much sense in regards to your streaming, because the Hanged Man in the upright position normally means letting go, seeing a new perspective. It's a man hanging upside down from a tree, so, well, you're seeing new things, usually. In the reverse position, it normally means delays.
Oh god. Well,
delays, troublesome happenings, that kind of affair. Just, yeah, relating that back to your streaming career is quite literally just, yeah, all the past month, essentially, of just delay after complication after delay.
Well, at least it's telling me what I already know.
Yeah, what you already know so far, which is fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay.
Okay, next is the Sun. In the upright position, this is normally a very good card to get, in the sense of it's, how does one say, vigor, if you will, just bright, sunny sort of stuff. In the reverse position, well, it's not exactly stuff about darkness or whatnot, but it's a bit more about being a bit down on yourself, essentially. In some cases...
Oh, that's nothing new then. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's... as a second card, that just represents your present state of mind, essentially. So,
oh, well...
yeah, it makes enough sense from streaming, I suppose. The inability to stream is getting to you to an extent, I suppose. Because, hey, it's something you've wanted to do but haven't been able to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the last one is the full. This normally refers to, let's see, the start of one's journey, kind of innocence, free-spirited sort of affair. So, generally speaking, if you draw the full, you have endless potential. That is in the upright position. This is in the reverse.
Yeah, I figure. Of course.
The reverse normally means stuff like hitting your limits, hitting your limits, being on the more reckless side of things, essentially. Willing to take more risks to accomplish things. So potentially this does mean when it comes to your streaming career, at some point you're probably just going to get fed up with all the bullshit and stream anyway.
Okay, alright.
That's the reading in a nutshell. Not too bad, actually.
Not horrible. Nothing that it's nothing that I don't already know, you know? Like, I'll face a lot of complication. I already knew that. I'm down on myself. I already knew that. And eventually I'm gonna stream regardless of all the complication. I'm just gonna find a way to force my way through it. Kind of already knew that. Because I'm not gonna let this...
What scares me is why was that needlessly accurate?
Yeah, I hate that. God, I don't want to know about anything. I don't know about anything. What if it tells me that my life is gonna come to an end, or I don't know. Just in general, I can't deal with that. I'm gonna handle my truth. I'm gonna handle my truth on my own.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not particularly concerned about how do I put it? I'm not particularly concerned about growth. I don't really mind if the community stays small. What matters to me is that I'm able to produce content for that community, and make sure that, you know, I have something to give back to them for everything that they've kind of given to me. So I'm not really particular about the whole like popularity thing, or like, you know, I just want to make sure that what I create for the people that I have watching me is worth, you know, like, is worth watching already. Yeah.
Fair enough. Alex? No, I'm not doing a full spread right now. I will refund that for now. You can try again at a later date. Good lord.
I don't want a full spread anyway. I probably couldn't handle it.
Oh lord. Anyway, with that, I think it's about time to end off this interview.
Alright, I had a fun time. Yeah, we truly, I think we could have gone on for like...
Yeah, probably could have gone
for
on
quite some time.
Quite a while. Maybe a Zatsudan sometime after reading something. Maybe.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not sure if you were... Yeah, I remember you were in favor of Umineko read along. So maybe one day you should join me, and then we could do Umineko read along together.
Sure.
I need somebody to read all the girl voices while I read all the Oji-san voices while I do. Everybody wants me to read only the man voices, so somebody has to take over.
That is going to be something
Very
really dodgy. Anyway. Anyhow, thanks for this lot for coming along, this audience of yours.
Yep, thank you everybody for coming.
Very dedicated bunch. Like, holy
I'm very lucky. I'm really lucky to have them.
Anyhow, let me see if I can't find someone to raid at this dodgy time of day. I'll take us to a loading screen for now. Let's see. Who's out there right now? Alright, there's Bloomy, there's Nanamin, there's Naue. Oh, I'll shoot it over to Bloomy, I guess.
Okay.
I don't particularly have a raid message, so I just suddenly dump myself on whoever, really. Which I find funnier than invading someone's chat, honestly, because they're just like, oh, wait, who the hell is this?
I can see the humor in that.
Because I just don't draw any attention to it at all. So yeah. Anyhow, I'll take us off air in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.